All right. Oh yeah. I have a new co-host.
Yeah.
Your services will no longer be needed.
Oh, really? Who's this new person that you've gotten to read all of the content for you?
Jackson. We're diversifying, reaching a broader audience.
Meow meow meow.
They don't need
Meow
to
meow meow.
understand what he
Meow meow
says.
meow.
His purr alone just translates the words.
I am sitting. That's what I'm sitting on. Okay.
Oh, my hoodie and my keys. That's what it is.
Ah, because you leaving your keys in your hoodie is smart.
It's what I
Because
do.
in 2 days you will ask me where they are.
And now you know what to tell me.
I will forget because it's not my job.
Okay, fair enough. Uh, hey,
Hello.
Dan. Oh, so I saw this today, and it's probably because I wasn't really into Harry Potter until a couple years ago when you introduced it to me that I never saw this news. Did you ever see the whole controversy with J.K. Rowling about the Gringotts um, people? What are they? Goblins? Gringotts goblins?
Goblins. What about it?
I was gonna say gnomes. Um, I guess there was this big controversy
The Luna
that
Lovegood one?
no, that
Oh, okay.
the goblins were based off of Jewish people.
Oh, I think I probably did read something about that and just came to the conclusion that people are reading way too much into this than they need to be.
Yeah, agreed. This was back in like 2011, which is why it's new to me. And in the end, people just agreed that no, it wasn't that. It wasn't being uh
Anti
hateful.
Semitic?
Yeah, hateful to the Jewish population. But there is an image. It was an old Nazi propaganda image, I think, where it depicts these Jews as these short, stocky, hook-nosed creatures. And the article I read actually had the picture side by side with who was the goblin?
Warwick Davis?
No,
Or the
the
character?
character.
Grip Hook?
Grip Hook. Thank you. And they look exactly alike. Like I could see why they would think this, but at the same time, I think they depicted the Jews as goblins in that propaganda,
Also, I would say that's not a J.K. Rowling
and it's
issue.
more of
That's a
just
movie issue.
yeah,
If
but
you're going to go that route.
well, that was another thing they said, but it was also J.K. Rowling had a lot of influence on how the characters were depicted in
At
the
least in the
movies.
first movie.
But either way, this was something that came back in 2011, and I guess it was a big controversy thing with J.K. Rowling being anti-Semitic for a long time.
I
Well,
feel like
not that long. It wasn't blown up, but I don't know. With everything going on with her now, I'm just thinking if social media was bigger, it probably would have blown up a lot more. Probably would have been a bigger story than what it was.
I think for whatever reason people are always trying to look for something to go after Rowling for. Constantly.
I don't think so. I think I just notice all that stuff because she's a big part of like our channel and what we do here.
Yeah.
So I think I notice that more, which is why I bring up more and which is why you notice more because I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff with George R. R. Martin, but I really don't look into anything about George R. R. Martin other than when his Winds of Winter coming out.
Yeah, I really don't care anything about George R. R. Martin
That's right,
other
Martin.
than a release date for Winds of Winter.
I don't care what you have to say about football. I don't care about your new fancy railroad.
Nope.
I just want your book.
I just want the book. Nothing else. Just give me a release date. That's all I'm asking for. I don't care about personal opinions either.
Yeah, pretty
That
much.
people do look for the bad, and it's much easier to seek out the negative than it is the positive.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Potentially find
what's
fault.
that? What's that old
Uh,
adage? If you do something right, no one will notice.
but if you do it wrong, everyone will pay. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Um, And I'm also just going to throw it out here. There are a lot of things about J.K. Rowling and her writing that I think a lot of people would not say anything about if she was a man. I'm just saying. I think her books would be given a lot more credulity as classic literature. I think she would be scrutinized a lot less.
They're considered classic literature.
And that's still a hard fight that people are still they're pushing for it to be considered classic literature, but the majority of people just think Harry Potter's kids books.
Well, I think the issue is that it started out as a kid's book and developed into classic literature, so it was a growing thing.
I think the attitude is changing because the people who read Harry Potter have now grown up, and those people are becoming the academics.
Yeah.
That's where the shift is coming from, but we just haven't gotten that shift yet.
Oh yeah. It's every generation. It always happens. There's going to be something when we're older and we're like, no, that doesn't count. And, you know, our children are going to be like, oh, no, actually, it definitely does.
Either way,
we're not here to discuss that.
No.
So, All the Young Dudes was not written by J.K. Rowling.
No, it was not, but it is so good that it could have been.
Yes.
And last time, Lupin got some information about his dad.
And his future wife.
And his future wife. Mother of his child.
As a child.
Not even yeah, he's a child and she is a baby. Yeah.
Because it's magical. Yeah. Yeah, you don't see a lot of classic sci-fi or fantasy. I think those are very new concepts, so it's hard for the older generations to kind of view them as classics. You know?
And even the ones that are viewed as classics, you have very few. Like Dune, Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings. Those are the classics.
I think the other thing with Harry Potter is that it came out so recently. Like, to be a classic, you have to stand the test of time. And really, Harry Potter just needs to hold out, which it is doing just fine.
It's doing very well. I think the argument for it being classic literature is because of ring theory and all of the elements that she uses and all of the classic literature that she relates to and relies on. And I could go on and on and on about why Harry Potter is classic literature. Yeah. But I think people just thought it was this hot shot fantasy kids series, and that was all it is, but it has endured for so long, and I think people are finally coming to terms with the fact that no, Harry Potter is on the level of Chronicles of Narnia or Lord of the Rings. It is a classic fantasy series.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it just needs time. That's all. Because that's one of the things you need to be considered a classic.
Well, you got to stand yeah, of course, you got to stand the test of time. Absolutely. You've got to be relevant 50 years later, 100 years later.
Exactly.
And Harry Potter is still relevant 20 years later, so it's doing pretty well.
It's doing good, and they're about to do a 20th reunion, so the whole love for Harry Potter is spiking back up.
Oh, yeah, and then we got the new movie coming out, but that's not Harry Potter to me.
No, it's Fantastic Beasts.
That's a separate thing in my brain.
It's totally different because it's Fantastic Beasts.
Yes.
There's no real source material for it, so it's just a movie.
It's just a film. It's a spinoff. Like,
there's a lot of outrage that Johnny Depp isn't coming back. So
yeah, but Mads Mikkelsen has replaced him. That's okay with me.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it's not okay with some people.
Well, I would say that those people need to chill out, because how much is it going to affect your life, really? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, how much does Fantastic Beasts affect your life, and you still get salty every time you hear about it?
Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to say, you can be salty about Johnny Depp not coming back for whatever reason. But I will also say that he was a terrible casting choice from the get-go. Like, He was the worst possible. I can't think of any worst possible castings for Grindelwald. That is not who I think of when I think of Grindelwald. Oh, yes, Johnny Depp would be perfect. Excuse me? Ew. No, not even close.
I mean, he's a good actor. Carlin Brothers have done some pretty good analogies of the trailer of Fantastic Beasts.
Mads Mikkelsen? One of the great loves of my life. He's way more appropriate to play that character. I'm just saying.
See, I really don't care. I don't get into celebrities like that. I don't care.
I'm just saying we're talking about it,
I
so
know.
I'm just voicing my opinion.
I'm just saying, like, I don't have an opinion either way.
He was a great Hannibal Lecter.
Hmm.
He was great. I'm just saying.
I didn't really watch it though.
No, you didn't. It's not
I
your kind of
saw
show,
bits
though.
and yeah,
It's not your thing.
not big into serial killers and all that.
I know. It's okay. Everyone has their flaws. Yeah. I mean, Grindelwald is supposed to be Eastern European, so
That's true.
Johnny Depp is not that.
No, he isn't.
But whatever. We don't care about Fantastic Beasts on this channel because if we get into a Fantastic Beasts discussion, I'll go on a Nagini rant again, and I've done that enough times that I don't need to do another Nagini rant.
Fair enough.
So I don't need to.
All right, so I was just saying this to, like, take up 5 minutes, but okay, we've wasted enough time. So
shall we read the
the young dudes?
next chapter of All the Young Dudes? Here we go.
What was the title of the next chapter called?
Confidence.
Confidence.
It's key.
In confidence or having confidence?
Let's find out.
All right.
Let me just make sure. Okay. Yep. Okay. Chapter 52. Third Year. Confidence. Saturday, 5th of January, 1974. Sheets of rain battered against the Hogwarts Express like a volley of enemy arrows, covering the usually green hillsides and a gauzy veil of mist and drizzle, darkening the sky. "Feels rubbish going back to school, doesn't it?" Sirius said sulkily, glaring out the window. Remus glanced over at Peter, who was staring at Sirius in disbelief. Sirius didn't notice. Remus sighed. "How was your Christmas, Pete?" he asked politely. "Okay," Peter replied dully. "Thanks for the sweets." "Seen my broom?" James asked, pulling it down from the luggage rack. Peter got up to look, perking up a bit. Remus rolled his eyes and returned to his book. He wasn't really reading it. He hadn't been able to concentrate properly on a book since the Potters' Christmas party. In fact, he hadn't been able to concentrate on anything at all. Not flying, or games, or conversations, or James and Sirius's animagus planning. So he pretended to read, hoping they'd leave him to it. At St. Edmund's, he'd have just skulked off by himself into town, but that didn't seem like a very good way to show gratitude to James's parents, who were sure to worry. It was as if there were a list of questions in his head that he had no way of getting answers to, so they just played back on repeat, round and round. Where was Greyback now? Who was you-know-who? Had Lyle Lupin hated his son that much? Remus had already known his father had killed himself because he'd been bitten. He'd always assumed that Lyle Lupin had been motivated by guilt, but now... Well, what if Remus had been wrong? What if the real reason had been hatred, or even worse, shame? For the past 3 years, Remus had been working hard at school, using his father's wand and taking the subjects his father might have taken. He didn't think about Lyle all the time, but in the back of his mind it still meant something. Since the Christmas party, he wasn't so sure anymore. Ferox had said, "Know thyself," but Remus was failing to see the wisdom in that now. He'd been much happier not knowing. These dark thoughts were interrupted by a quiet tapping at the carriage door. Marlene poked her head round. "Hi, McKinnon," James grinned. "Evan's with you?" No," she squeaked, fiddling with her hair nervously. "Sirius, can I talk to you?" "Me?" Sirius sat up, looking confused. What is it? Mary asked me to tell you something. Tell me what? I don't think I was supposed to say it in front of this lot. Okay. Sirius got up and followed her outside into the corridor. The other three exchanged amused looks while they waited. Ugh, Remus thought. Had he been mistaken about the Mary and Sirius thing? Was it Sirius and Marlene now? Moments later, a stunned-looking Sirius re-entered the compartment alone. Well? James asked. Mary's got a boyfriend, apparently, Sirius said, confused. You mean you got dumped? I don't know. He sat down, scratching his head. Was I going out with her? Well, apparently she thought you were. Why don't girls just say what they mean? Sirius ran his hand through his hair in a good imitation of James, who nodded in a sympathetic way. Girls are a nightmare, he agreed. Remus celebrated inwardly. Thank goodness all of this was behind them.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Sunday, 6th of January, 1974. He later learned that Mary had started to go out with a muggle boy she knew from home. We grew up on the same block, she confided in him excitedly. His flat's just across from mine. I properly fancied Sirius, and he's nice and everything, but, well, he's a bit posh. I don't think he knows what a council flat is. Remus had to agree to that one. As for himself, he warmed to Mary once again, and didn't even mind her going on and on about her new boyfriend, and how he'd taken her to the local dance hall, and the pictures, and how her mum loved him, and her dad thought he was a good boy. Marlene, however, looked terminally bored as they sat around by the fire doing their last bits of holiday homework together. This did not escape Mary's notice. Don't be jealous, Miles. I'm not, Marlene frowned. I just think you're being horrible to Sirius. What? Dumping him like that. You hurt his feelings. Marlene's cheeks had turned an uncharacteristic shade of pink. No, she didn't, Remus snorted. Both girls glared at him as if he'd completely misunderstood. Oh my God! Mary stared at her friend. Marlene, do you fancy Sirius? No! Marlene stood up, bright red now. Oh, you're such a bitch, Mary! She stormed up to the girls' dorm. Lily sighed, glancing up. That wasn't very nice, she said reproachfully. Her problem, not mine, Mary shrugged. Does she fancy Sirius? Does it matter? I'm going too. Remus stood up, trying not to heave a sigh. Oh, don't go, Remus, Mary said. We'll stop talking about boys, I promise. I'm tired, he lied, and I've finished mine. See you tomorrow. As he walked away, he heard Mary whisper very loudly, Oh my God, maybe he fancies Miles. Remus reminded himself that he was trying to like Mary again and didn't react. He climbed the stairs and went to sit in the dorm room alone. James, Peter and Sirius were all in detention for a prank they'd pulled before Christmas. He wasn't tired at all. It was 2 nights before the full moon, and he was beginning to feel the usual telltale restlessness in his limbs, the familiar quickening of his heartbeat. Left to his own devices, Remus returned to the troubling thoughts that had been bothering him for weeks. Again, they seemed to just swirl through his brain in a big soupy mess without beginning or end. Did all wizards feel the same as Darius? As Lyle Lupin? Were his father's actions really justifiable? Remus couldn't ignore the fact that his mother had also abandoned him, which had to mean something. His friends certainly hadn't treated him any different after finding out, but then how could anyone truly know what their friends thought of them? The Marauders liked anything dangerous. Perhaps sharing a room with Remus was simply another exciting risk. What he really needed was to speak to somebody impartial. James was so lucky having 2 parents always willing to listen. Sirius was lucky to have James. Remus wasn't sure if Peter had problems or not. Probably did. Probably told James too. There was McGonagall. Remus knew that they were supposed to go to her with their problems, but she was so stern and difficult, and she liked James best anyway. Madame Pomfrey, of course. She'd been supportive before. But she wasn't one to let you feel sorry for yourself. She just tried to come up with a common-sense solution, or else tell him not to worry so much. Then Dumbledore. But Remus had no idea to talk to him, and he wasn't even sure he wanted to. As far as people who knew the complexities of Remus's problem, there was also Professor Ferox. Remus was 95% sure he knew, anyway. He pondered this as a solution. Remus felt a sort of undefinable kinship with his care of magical creatures professor. He had a very reassuring presence, and Remus thought he might feel better if he could speak to him, somehow sure that Ferox would lend a sympathetic ear. There was a funny flutter in his stomach, like excitement, and Remus thought that was a good sign. He glanced at the clock in the corner. It was only 5. It was only 5 o'clock. The other boys wouldn't be out of detention until 6, and curfew wasn't until 8. Remus pulled out the Marauders map from under his pillow. The basic outline of the castle was complete now. They just needed to finalize the grounds, animate the staircases, and add the secret places only they knew about. Then Sirius's tagging idea could come next, though they still weren't sure how to go about it. Remus had discovered one spell which would locate a single person, but nothing of the magnitude they required. Still, he cast his locator spell now and found that Professor Ferox was walking from the Great Hall to the staff room. Remus got up quickly. If he was fast, then he could make it look like a chance encounter. He grabbed James's cloak before leaving, just in case Mary and Lily were still in the common room. He was just reaching the doorknob when he had a sudden flash of sense. What on earth was he doing? Going to see Professor Ferox? And then what? Whinge to him about his dead father? Cry to him about how no one ever understood him because he was a murderous dark creature with a working-class accent? Moan about how his friends were all going girl-mad and he felt left behind? Remus retreated back into the room. What on earth would Ferox think of him? That he was a big wuss, that's what. You couldn't go crying to teachers whenever something bothered you. You couldn't just expect everyone to feel sorry for you. No one owes you a happy life, Matron always said. He lay on his bed and stared up at the canopy. He felt worse now. He didn't know what had come over him. He was never normally one to act on impulse. Not anymore. Not since first year. He just felt so strongly that he ought to see his teacher. Ah! There it was again, that flutter in his midsection. It wasn't excitement at all, it was... Well, he wasn't sure what it was. He felt hot and flushed and oddly prickly. It was something... animal. Oh, God. Remus let out a groan. It must be the transformation. The wolf was creeping in earlier than usual, maybe. It probably liked the smell of Ferox, or it caught the scent of his Kneazle. Did wolves eat cats? Only good beasts a dead beast. That's what Darius told him. At the time, Remus felt it was a little unfair. After all, he'd never hurt anyone. Dumbledore wouldn't let that happen. He definitely didn't want to hurt anyone, either. Except occasionally Snape, and that was just normal, wasn't it? Perhaps Remus was more dangerous than he thought he was. He'd learnt to control his temper most of the time now that he'd learned to control his magic. He just had to learn to control whatever this was, too. When James, Sirius, and Peter returned, Remus made up his mind. "I've had a think," he started. "No wonder you needed a lie down," Sirius smirked. Remus threw a pillow at him. "Piss off, I'm serious." "No, I'm serious." James slapped him round the head. "Shut up, Black." "Thanks," Remus smiled. The whole animagus thing." "Yeah?" Sirius looked more eager now, still rubbing his head. "Had an idea? I love moony ideas." Not exactly." Remus felt awkward now. Still, it had to be done. He'd made a decision. I don't want you to do it." "Do what?" Peter looked confused. "He doesn't want us to become animagi," James said, looking at Remus with those clear, honest eyes. "Is that right?" Remus nodded, feeling horribly guilty. "I'm really grateful, I am. I don't think any of you really understand how dangerous it could be. I could hurt you. I could kill you. I've got no control over it. But it's going to work, Sirius protested. I did all the research, James. Did you show him? Leave it, mate, James said. It's Lupin's decision. Thanks. Remus smiled at James. He felt terrible for letting them down, but it was for their own good, and he had to be the mature one. Sirius looked like he wanted to say something else, but James gave him a hard look that was so like Mrs. Potter that it silenced the shorter boy at once. They didn't say much else for the rest of the evening, and Remus had to pretend to read his book again. Later that night, after lights out, Remus heard Sirius creep over to James's bed and cast the silencing spell for the first time in a long time. He wished they would invite him, just once. He wished he wasn't always the one left out. He wished he knew how it felt to have a friend as close as James. More than ever, he wanted someone to talk to. Suddenly overwhelmed, Remus quickly cast his own spell so the others wouldn't hear him crying.
Oh, poor Remus. And also that fuzzy animalistic sensation when he sees Ferox. I don't think that's a transformation. Well, it is a bit of a transformation.
Yes.
Not a wolf transformation.
I don't think it's a werewolf issue.
No.
I think it's a
love issue.
I'm not gonna lie. Remus continuously shutting everyone out is getting a little old.
Yeah, it's become a bit redundant now.
I'm kind of over it a little bit. Like, oh my god, already.
But, I mean, it does kind of make sense.
It makes sense, but I'm just like,
we are only in... Isn't this the beginning of... No, we're like halfway through
after
third
Christmas break.
Is this third year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's been a while. He should be able to open up to them. But, you know, he's had a rough life, traumatized. And his body's going through changes, and his changes aren't the same as his friends. They're liking girls, and he doesn't find that appealing, and now Ferox is causing weird things to happen. See, he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know how to talk about it. It's hard.
I know, but...
No pun intended.
I'm just saying, literally, anytime something happens, it's like, okay. And then he's like, no, I'm too dangerous. Stay away from me. Don't do this. And then Sirius convinces him to do it anyway because it's going to be okay. We got you, buddy. And I don't know. Just like,
yeah, I go, okay, I see that point. That whole situation, it is kind of like an old, you know, Saturday morning cartoon. You know, it's always the same plot, different monster.
Dan makes a good point. Why doesn't he think he can talk to Lily about it?
Yeah, for real.
Lily has been like his most supportive friend. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's getting a little... Jesus Christ, dude.
Oh, that's cute. Lily and Sirius is gonna be, or not Sirius. Lupin is gonna be Lily's like gay best friend.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, if he actually comes out and it isn't a weird thing where he does this and never confesses his feelings to Sirius and then pretends to be in love with Tonks and has a child and never comes out of the closet about it, and it's a tragic, awful ending where Lupin could never be himself, and yeah, that would just be sad.
This went way, way beyond what I was trying to say, for sure.
Well,
all I meant was
you started the gears turning.
I know.
And
I'm just like, Lupin, for God's sake.
Oh, it gets better. Someone's already read this story.
She's one of the ones that recommended this to us.
Okay.
I believe it gets better. I do. I have faith. I'm just saying, right now, in this moment, I'm just a little... Here we go. He's gonna say no, and then he's gonna brood for a while about how terrible his life is and how it's not fair, and he's losing all his friends to girls, and it sucks, and he's a dangerous beastie, and then something's gonna happen, probably with Sirius or Mr. Ferox, and he's gonna be like, okay, let's be Magi. It's fine. It's cool. You guys really do love me. Like,
All right, so in the story's defense, though, Harry Potter's a lot of that too.
I know.
So
I just, it's less frustrating with Harry to me. It just, it is. I'm sorry. Harry is less frustrating to me. I don't know
well,
why.
no, this is a fanfic, so I mean, I feel like Harry's was put together. It was more refined.
Well, that's
So
true.
it
It is a
wasn't
professional
as
novel.
yeah.
Rowling is a professional writer who was educated to be a writer. She went to school to write.
And you said she planned this out for like 5 or 6 years, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
I'm just saying, you said Harry went through this, and I'm like, yeah, Harry was a lot less annoying. I don't just say.
Except for Caps Lock Harry. Oh god, I hated Caps
See,
Lock.
I would take Caps Lock Harry over this any
No.
day. I would.
He's just Jon Snow.
Yeah,
If
but
you made it through Game of Thrones, it's fine.
Caps Lock Harry had just witnessed someone be murdered and was suffering from PTSD. Lupin is just.
Lupin doesn't want to be the one to murder someone.
He's just.
He has pre-traumatic stress syndrome.
I'm just saying he's frustrating me right now. That's all. I'm not saying he's not justified in his feelings or his reactions. He is totally justified feeling the way he does because he has had a traumatic life. He is very closed off and doesn't understand how to open up to people. And I understand that that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm saying is it's annoying me. That's all. I'm sorry, but it is. I'm just like, here we go again. Another broody chapter where we're in Lupin's head and he hates himself.
He's Jon Snow. That's all. Just think of it like that, like you're reading Game of Thrones. Does Jon Snow annoy you?
Not really.
Exactly.
No.
But it's the same thing. Jon's just a bastard. No one loves me. My mother hated me.
Yeah, but you get more.
It's Lupin.
But there's the Raven and Sam and
You
Dolores
got
Ed.
Sirius and James and Wormtail.
Wormtail is not saying much, okay?
No, he really hasn't. He's been a huge part of the story.
He's been more of a part of the story than I've seen in other fan fictions, but
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm getting annoyed with Lupin. I can't help it. I'm just reacting to how I react. I'm not saying that it's not well written, it's not justified. It logically makes sense that this would be where his head is at after the last chapter. It does. Because he just got this huge dump about his dad and all that stuff.
I mean, I agree, Dan. He should be more open with these guys, but you see in a lot of stories, like the characters, you think that in real life they would act one way, but it doesn't really develop the story that well, so they act a different way. But yes, he should definitely.
By this point, it would make sense that he.
I think.
I don't know. He would. You think at this point he would have at least found one person he could confide in?
Lily.
Right, Lily. What's the issue? Why can't you talk to Lily? I don't know. I think now this like whole thing with girls is like totally thrown him off his game, and he probably thinks Lily's gonna talk to Mary and Marlene about it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also,
I'm being devil's advocate here.
You're fine. You're fine. I also Mary and Marlene. They were a little obnoxious in this chapter too. Like, oh my god, ew.
See, I didn't think they were that.
I never liked girls like that. So, like, to me, it's just like, oh my god.
You and Lupin have something in common.
Yeah, we do. I actually do get that. Like, that would have been me. I would have been like, oh my god, shut up.
I'm out of here.
I'm going upstairs. I don't want to listen to this.
And Ferox probably would have been right up your alley. So, yeah, you and Lupin are like same animal.
Oh my god, maybe so. Maybe we are.
The same beast, if you will.
I guess so. Ferox does seem up my alley, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. And you're a zoology major, so I mean it's perfect.
Zoologist now. Not a major anymore.
I'm sorry.
I graduated. I'm just not practicing.
Forgive me.
I am a zoologist. I just can't practice my craft.
Fair enough. Okay.
Unless someone wants to hire me.
I mean, good luck, but I doubt it. That would be awesome if, like, someone who owned a zoo watched our channel and was just like, hey, we have a position open. Love to have you.
You never know.
You can read stories to our tigers every day.
I would love to. I'll read them The Lady and the Tiger. The kiddies would love that story.
Yeah, you have a little kids section and everything.
The Lady and the Tiger is not a kid's story, but I would love to read to the big kiddies.
Or Life of Pi. There you go.
Life of Pi.
That's a kid's story, right? The kids would love it.
The cats would like it.
Just make them hungry.
Probably. Could read them The Lion King.
That's true.
Could read them The Snow Leopard.
Yeah, except then the lions would be hanging off the cage reenacting the scene with Mufasa. All dramatic. But no, anyways. We can move on to the next chapter. I'm just going to go get some water.
Okay.
You can start. I can hear you.
Okay, let's try to move on from my disappointment. Chapter 53. Third year. Davy Gudgeon. A note. Trigger warning for homophobic slur and a bit of swearing. So if anyone is triggered, note I'm just reading the text as is. Winter passed into spring, and as per usual, Remus's birthday was celebrated with creative vigor by the other Marauders, the customary singing at every mealtime, the cake, presents. Unfortunately, McGonagall was wise to their antics this year and had a prefect watching the boys' dorms to prevent any further midnight fireworks displays. Fortunately, Remus's 14th fell on a Hogsmeade weekend, and he felt very grown up indeed, spending the afternoon in the Three Broomsticks with his friends. It soon became clear that James and Sirius had somehow bribed all their classmates to stop by the pub too, as a steady stream of students approached their table wanting to buy Remus a butterbeer or toast his health. By the time the afternoon was over, everyone in the bar knew Remus's name, and he was raucously cheered on his way out. Completely embarrassing, of course. With his birthday out of the way, Remus threw himself into revision in preparation for the upcoming exams. He had a particular urge to do well in his new subjects, not least care of magical creatures. By returning his focus to study and schoolwork, Remus slowly began to put the cruel words of Darius Barebones behind him. Yes, he was dangerous, and yes, once everyone found out what Remus was, he would most likely be shunned. But until then, he had an opportunity to learn, and he wasn't going to waste it. Sunday, 7th of April, 1974. Remus had never met Davy Gudgeon before, as far as he knew, nor had the others. He never found out what the kid looked like even, but he would remember that name until the day he died. The Whomping Willow had turned into a game during the summer of 1973 by a group of bored first years, and though it was abhorred by Filch and frowned upon by the heads of houses, no one really said anything about it. Try to see how close you can get to the trunk before the branches took a swipe at you. Remus certainly had no inclination to play. He hated that tree. As it was, Remus wasn't even there when it happened. It was the day after a full moon and he was in the hospital wing as usual. Peter was sitting on the floor, sorting through his chocolate frog cards, muttering to himself happily. James was marking Sirius's divination homework, and Sirius was covertly flicking his wand at James behind his back, turning his hair different colours for Remus's amusement. Blue, pink, green, yellow. It was working, too. Remus found it hysterically funny because James looked so serious, and when he was concentrating his tongue poked out between his teeth like a cat. It was a perfectly pleasant afternoon, and Remus could almost ignore how much his bones and teeth hurt as they settled back into place for another cycle. But then it happened. The hospital door slammed open and a student came in, shrieking, "Madam Pomfrey! Madam Pomfrey, help!" Nosy as they were, James and Sirius jumped down from the bed to peer around the pale green curtains. Remus sighed, leaning back on his pillow. He was accustomed now to the ebb and flow of the hospital wing. Raised voices like that usually meant a spell gone wrong. He tried to ignore it. He resented anything that reminded him he was in a hospital and not just enjoying a lazy afternoon with his friends. But James and Sirius remained out of view, watching whatever the scene was unfold, and when they turned back toward the bed, their faces were pale and serious. The commotion had grown louder. Remus was dimly aware that someone was crying. "What is it?" he asked more irritably than he meant to. Sirius's mouth twisted and James shook his head mutely, pushing his glasses up his nose. Peter finally looked up from his cards. "What?" "An accident. Some kid," James murmured. "Everyone out!" Madame Pomfrey's voice echoed through the chamber, unnaturally loud and clear. The curtain round Remus's bed parted and she poked her head through, looking distracted. "Remus, dear, if you're feeling well enough, it might be best for you to spend the rest of the afternoon in your own bed. Potter, would you go and fetch Professor Sprout? Tell her one of the students has been injured." James nodded and left immediately, without even glancing back at his friends or his homework. You could always rely on James. Sirius caught Remus's eye, and Remus nodded his assent, climbing out of bed. He was still in his pajamas, and Sirius hoiked Peter up by the elbow to give him some privacy. Remus dressed as quickly as he could, shoved his books into his bag, grabbed James's work, and joined his friends on the other side of the curtain. He could smell blood. Curtains had been drawn round the bed nearest the door, and the three boys hurried past it, wanting nothing more than to escape the unpleasant atmosphere and get as far away as possible. They went straight to the common room, Remus limping slightly, Sirius and Peter slowing down to match his pace. "What was it?" Remus whispered. "There was blood." "Yeah," Sirius replied, looking shaken. "I don't know what happened, but it was his face." Peter looked faintly ill. They reached the common room and Remus collapsed into an armchair, exhausted. "You okay?" Sirius asked anxiously, touching a hand to Remus's shoulder. Remus nodded, closing his eyes and breathing deeply. Fine. He shrugged Sirius off, embarrassed, wishing he could be normal for once. "All right, lads." Mary sauntered into the room, Marlene in tow. "Hear what happened to the Gudgeon kid?" "No," Sirius replied slyly. "What?" "Whacked in the face by that mental tree," she said, shaking her cloak off. "They were trying to touch the trunk." "The Whomping Willow?" "Yeah," Marlene piped up. "It shouldn't be allowed. It's so dangerous." "Did you see it happen?" Remus asked, trying to keep the panic out of his voice. "Nope," Mary shrugged, flinging herself down on the couch next to Sirius. "Heard it from one of the second-year girls." "They've got to get rid of it," Marlene said shrilly. "Dumbledore can't leave it there now. Someone could get killed." "He should have stayed away from it," Sirius said, frowning. "It's a stupid game. Everyone knows what that tree's like." "Have I gone mad?" Mary laughed. "Sirius Black, the voice of reason?" "Piss off, MacDonald," Sirius scowled. Remus was starting to get a headache. He rubbed his temple and closed his eyes again, shrinking down into the armchair. Guilt creeped up his spine, hot and cold pinpricks. It hit him in the face. Would this Gudgeon boy be all right? Surely Madame Pomfrey would be able to fix it, whatever it was. She could fix anything.
That must just imagine getting hit in the face with a tree.
With a tree?
Jeez.
Gossip about Davy Gudgeon flooded into the school in a matter of hours until no one could escape it. Sarah Saunders from Ravenclaw told everyone she'd seen his parents arrive, then marched straight up to Dumbledore's office, looking furious. Gudgeon's friends in Hufflepuff relayed the story over and over for anyone who would listen, that it seemed as though Davy could actually reach the trunk this time, but then the willow lashed out at the very last minute. They heard varying accounts of the damage, that the tree had cracked his skull in two, that he'd lost both his eyes, or even that he'd actually died and the school was covering it up. Marlene, who seemed more distressed than anyone else about the whole thing, enlisted Lily and Mary's help in drawing up a petition to have the Whomping Willow removed from the school grounds. Remus signed it. He couldn't think of a good enough reason not to. Sirius refused. That tree has just as much right to be here. That tree has just as much right to be here as anybody, he said firmly as Marlene chased him with a quill. But Sirius, she pleaded, it's dangerous. So are bludgers, he returned, dodging her. You're going to leave the Quidditch team? It's hardly the same thing. Just sign it, Black, Lily groaned, trying to finish her room's homework. What's it to you? It's the principal. He crossed his arms firmly. Lily rolled her huge green eyes. Tosser, she muttered under her breath. Can't he see how upset Miles is? Why is she so upset? Remus asked in a whisper when Marlene was out of earshot. Does she know, Davy? Don't think so, Lily sighed. I just think she wants a project to take her mind off stuff at home. Family, you know. Remus thought about this. He didn't know Marlene as well as he'd gotten to know Lily and Mary. Mary was so outgoing and could chat to anyone. In fact, if anything, she was a bit of an oversharer. Remus knew far too much about her snogging preferences for his liking. Marlene had always been the quieter, shyer one, less sure of herself, even in the areas she excelled. He didn't know very much about her family simply because it never occurred to him to ask about people's families. He didn't think the petition would really go anywhere. Dumbledore had given a speech prohibiting anyone from going near the Whomping Willow again, and that was all that had been said on the matter. The staff were clearly uneasy, and Remus had just been trying to keep his head down. The other Marauders hadn't said anything to him about it, and changed the subject whenever it came up. Usually Remus preferred not to discuss anything related to his very little problem, but now he was beginning to wonder whether they secretly blamed him after all. James would never say it out loud, of course. Peter might. Sirius might say so and then instantly take it back. Either way, none of them said a word, leaving Remus's imagination to run wild. Oh, dear Lord. Jesus Christ, Remus.
Just all right.
A week after the incident, Professor Sprout confirmed the rumour. Davy Gudgeon was now blind and would not be returning to Hogwarts for some time. Remus had been trying to avoid Sprout since it happened. As a biology teacher, he was sure she knew exactly what the Whomping Willow was doing on the grounds in the first place. His parents are taking him to America, where there are advances being made in ocular healing potions, the dumpy professor explained at breakfast. I'm sure Davy and his family are very grateful for all your well wishes. Remus felt a horrible sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach. Those healing potions are going to cost a fortune.
Oh, 100%.
They're going to America. They're going to be broke. They'll never make it back to the UK. Remus felt a horrible sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach. When Marlene, Lily, Mary, and a few other students got up to present their petition, which had over 400 signatures now, Remus went with them. Professor Sprout accepted the petition and promised to discuss the matter with Dumbledore. She even awarded Marlene 10 points for her efforts. They're not going to get rid of it, though, Sirius said later that evening when the Marauders were all alone in their room. No, I doubt it. Remus kicked a stray sock under his bed, hands in his pockets. So why did you go up? Remus shrugged. Felt like the right thing to do. I mean, Marlene's right. The tree's dangerous. Shouldn't be at a school. But, Peter started. I know, Remus snapped. I know, okay? You shouldn't feel guilty, mate, James said kindly. Gudgeon shouldn't have been mucking about like that. It's not your fault. Oh my God.
It's my fault.
If it's anyone's fault, Remus said darkly, then it's mine.
It's his. It's not a secret that the tree hits people.
Right, it's your fault. Everyone knows. The tree wakes people.
Oh my goodness, so much emotion right now.
I'm sorry. That's stupid, Sirius said bluntly, shaking his head. That's right, Sirius. You're being stupid. What's Sirius on this one? Oh my god. You didn't plant it, did you? I don't know if it's escaped everyone else's attention, but this school is not exactly safety conscious. It's built next to a bloody forest full of creatures more dangerous than a flipping tree. There's supposed to be a literal monster lying dormant somewhere directly below us, and not being funny, but have you seen Hagrid?
Wait, what's with Hagrid?
He's a half giant.
Yeah, but
people are really prejudiced about that, though.
Okay.
Also,
they don't be talking about my man Hagrid like that.
They don't
yourself serious.
They don't know Hagrid like Harry knows Hagrid. They don't got no relationship with Hagrid. Give Sirius a little leeway with that. Plus, we don't know.
Like you give Lupin leeway.
I've given Lupin a lot of leeway. What's your point, Black? Remus sighed heavily, sitting down. His hip hurt if he stood up for too long. He was getting to be like an old woman. I don't know, Sirius shrugged. Shit happens. Don't blame yourself. Stop moping. Moping? Remus growled, his temperature rising. Fuck off! There's a kid who can't see because I'm too dangerous to be at school. Try telling Marlene what I am. I bet she'd get a lot more signatures on that petition. You're not dangerous! You don't know what I am, Remus hissed. You're our friend, James said suddenly. Remus stared at him. It was a stupid, soppy, dramatic thing to say. But that was half the problem with James. He so embodied those unrealistic values of loyalty, justice, and honor that he forced you to believe in them too. He sat next to Remus on the bed. You're our friend, and that's the most important thing, okay? He met Remus's glare and glared back, smiling. Okay, he said. Remus continued to glare, and James inched closer so that their knees knocked together. Okay, he said, leaning forward now, his nose centimeters from Remus's. Remus knew this tactic. James did the same thing sometimes to cheer Sirius up. He never blinked. It was highly unnerving, and finally Remus laughed, ducking away. Okay. James laughed too and threw his arms round Remus. Thank goodness! We couldn't lose you, Moony! He cried. Suddenly Sirius and Peter followed suit, piling onto Remus, who found himself at the bottom of a very giggly scrum. Laughing despite himself, Remus tried to squirm out from under them. Get off me, you bunch of poofs! Ah, you love us, really? Sirius patted his head.
Aw, they made up. See, there it was. We just need to go one more chapter, and now they all convinced him. Stop being emo.
Like I said they would.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, it had to. We couldn't have an entire story of, Remus.
I'm not gonna lie.
She told us it gets better. So there you go. We just had to make it one more chapter.
Not gonna lie. I don't know what this group of idiots would do without James. He's the glue, man.
I think that's the point. Harry was the glue of the magic trio, and
that's true. James is very much the glue.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like father, like son. And yes, donated by a former student. And loophole, Dumbledore is a former student. So he's not lying,
It's true.
And I like that they point out, though, that, the school is built next to Forbidden Forest.
And a little Chamber of Secrets mentioned there.
Mm-hmm. And you're on top of a basilisk. Yeah, that's great. Let's send our kids. That's fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Well, the Chamber of Secrets is supposedly, a myth, right? At this point.
That's true.
I just, as soon as they were like, the kid got hit with the Whomping Willow, I'm like, oh my god, Remus is gonna be like, it's all my fault. If I didn't come to the school, then they would have planted a tree. And I did the kid when he got hit in the face.
It's not like it's a secret. They don't just call it a willow. It's a Whomping Willow.
And I think I felt serious.
Expect.
I felt serious in that moment. He's like, "You're being stupid."
I mean, if like,
how does no one? They know what it does. They've seen what it does.
If it was like some first year who was just walking to class and
just got like randomly smacked.
Clotheslined by this willow,
that'd be different.
But he was actively, trying to get close
with the tree. Like they were legit trying to mess with the tree. They knew
exactly. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Which is messed up. That later on, Sirius is going to tell Snape to go find the tree. It's messed up.
This is why Sirius wanted to keep it. It was his plan all along.
He was just waiting.
Like, no, you're going to ruin my master plan.
I got to get Snape. I want to hit Snape in the face with it.
That's my tree. My tree specially designed for Snape. Snape's tree.
I think you're supposed to read into when Sirius says the tree has every much as right to be here.
Mm-hmm.
He says that to like Mary or Marlene. He's like, the tree has every much as right of a right to be here as anyone. He's definitely saying that Lupin has every right to be here.
Yeah,
it's totally a metaphor kind of a thing there.
Also made me wonder, so Madame Pomfrey can heal bones and organs and all these other things. What about brain damage? Kid just got hit in the face with a tree.
Well, look what happened to Lockhart.
He's gonna be lucky.
I mean,
he's gonna be lucky if he just but that was a spell.
That was not blunt force.
This blunt force trauma. That is concussion if he's lucky.
He's
if
blind,
not cerebral hemorrhaging.
He's blind. How did the tree hit him? Did he get like a twig straight through the eyeball?
But then why?
Or did he get?
I guess
did he get smacked so hard that like his eyeballs
exploded?
Yeah.
Or they just got shoved back in his brain. But maybe that's the answer to my question. You can't heal neurological damage because sight is controlled by nerves. So maybe that's it. So maybe he's got a
TBI. Yeah, maybe Matt.
That's it. He's never gonna be a minister of magic now.
No, he is not.
It also.
But maybe he could be Filch's helper.
Another question.
Oh no, he can't see. Never mind. Forget that.
Filch's helper. Here, go clean up the owlery. Just follow the smell. You'll get there. Another thought I kind of had during this chapter is, so the Whomping Willow is technically a magical tree.
Was there a magical damage done?
Yeah.
With the SWAT?
Yeah. So is that damage?
I had that thought.
Magic.
Was there magical damage that could potentially be repaired?
Maybe that's why they can't repair it, because it was a magical wound. Maybe they could fix it if
right, because they have no problem.
Lupin had just taken a baseball bat to his face.
Because they have no problem fixing like Muggles kind of injuries.
That's what I mean.
I don't know if there's like a magical component to the blunt force trauma because it was a magical tree.
Or if you can heal like parts of the brain. Because again, we could argue that this was magic, and also Lockhart's injury was caused by magic. So those are like scapegoats and throws those up.
I think trying to heal magical brain damage is the same thing as trying to heal like Muggle brain damage. I think it's equally as difficult, because you people who have TBIs, like there is no fix for that.
Well, no,
90% of the time.
But I mean, you have some species like the axolotl can grow back parts of its brain.
I'm talking about humans,
right? But I'm just
humans
saying
specifically.
So evolution could do it. Like, who says that wizards haven't found out magic to do it?
I think if they had, Lockhart would not be in St. Mungo's. I think Lockhart is
But
there
it's
specifically.
magical.
Right, and
Magical
that he got
wounds.
a magic tree.
Magical wounds are harder to heal, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying,
I'm
if it was non-magical
I
damage inflicted.
I don't know. I think brain damage is such a complex issue.
Well, the car already had magical powers. That's how it could fly. And no, it wouldn't get magical powers from it, but the damage couldn't be reversed by magic because it was magical injuries.
I think it could be reversed by magic, but it would be difficult.
That's how the car that ran out of power then survived years later.
Right, because
maybe. Because, yeah, it definitely would have ran out of gas.
But we have no evidence that the Whomping of the Whomping Willow what the potential magical side effects are of being whacked by the Whomping Willow.
Well, that's what I'm theorizing here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is what they are. Or could possibly be.
I think treating a magical brain injury is the same thing as trying to treat a muggle brain injury with muggle tech. I think it's very hard. I think you're in the same situation, but you have magic. And in some ways, I think with magic, you're kind of at a disadvantage.
Why?
Because they don't have X-rays and those kinds of things.
Well, no,
to
but
assess
they
which
have
part
potions that regrow your bones.
Yeah, they do.
Obviously, it regrows like nerves.
But I don't know if they.
Well, no. Because Moody, lost his eye. He got a magical eye.
Right.
But that was magic damage, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was magic damage. I think we just don't have enough information about the treatment of magic. But remember, in the Department of Mysteries, all the brains. Ron gets attacked by all the brains. So I would assume that there has to be some kind of experimental or super secret.
They'll just give you a new brain. Maybe they just do like a pensieve swap. They take all your memories out of that brain, give you a new one, and then put all the memories back.
What's what I'm saying? I think there's treatments that we just don't know anything about.
It's like fishing out just a big bowl of noodles with chopsticks and just dumping it in your head.
I think there's just a lot of treatment we don't know anything about, a lot of magical maladies that we don't know a lot about. But I would
be
think
great
that
though, as a therapist, like, all right, can you just take out all the traumatic events from my memory for me, to leave the good ones, maybe spice them up a little bit for me.
You know that there is no magical therapy because Cho Chang was suffering and no one helped her.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying there could be. There's a market for that.
That they're very medieval in their opinions on those kinds of things.
Well, yeah, but
I think there probably are some traumatic brain injury treatments for magical brain trauma, but I think the idea is that it's extremely difficult to overcome given the Longbottoms.
Yeah.
Because we also, not only do we get Lockhart, but we get the Longbottoms who were magically tortured into being crazy.
Well, yeah.
So, Davy Gudgeon.
That's not necessarily damage to the physical brain. That's more psychological damage.
Right. But they're both debilitating.
Well, yeah.
One's psychological.
I'm saying if
one's physical.
I'm saying if you get blunt force trauma to the head and they can't salvage the brain, I'm saying that they could go into your brain, pull out all the memories like the pensieve, swish them around.
I don't think
grab a different brain from
they did that.
Ministry of Mysteries, plop it in your head. Department of Mysteries.
That's not what those brains are for.
How do you know?
This is not what they're studying.
How do you know? We don't know.
They're studying memory.
It's a Department of Mysteries. It's a mystery. We don't know.
Right.
The transfer
does not call up the Department of Mysteries and say, "Hey, we need a brain." These brains attack people. They're abnormal brains. They're not brains you're gonna use. I don't think they just take brains and stick them in other people's heads.
They're in the experimental phase.
If they could do that, they would have done that with the Longbottoms, and they did not do that. They did not do that with Gilderoy Lockhart. Otherwise, they would.
They're in an experimental phase. They haven't gotten that far yet.
They're not there yet. This is the 90s. This is like 19...
Exactly. So now in...
Oh, well, this is actually the 70s in Lupin's story. Yeah. So hell no.
In 2021, they're probably doing that like it's nothing. Probably have it automated.
What's the automation?
I don't know. Some magical thing where the brain just goes in your memories. I don't know. It's like that episode of Black Mirror when they have like the recorder, but with magic.
Okay,
everyone has like a pensieve watch. It records all your memories, and you can choose what to delete.
Let me just say what the next chapter is.
Okay. This is the most heated debate we've had about Harry Potter in a long time.
I know.
Like, since we finished the book, I feel like we've kind of been on the same page. We kind of disagreed on things, but now this is almost the pensieve all over again.
It feels like it. Between the brain injury discussion.
Yes, like Molly's dishes surgery, except instead of the knives cutting up stuff on the table, it's, slicing people up and transplants and stuff.
And the Remus discussion and the brain conversation that we've been having.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very heated this evening.
It has been.
The next chapter is called Marlene.
Marlene,
the queen of the mean. Of the forest, the grounds, and the common room.
What could Marlene possibly be doing? We've already found out that she is done with Sirius, all right?
Mary was done with Sirius.
Oh, maybe Marlene's the one who likes Lupin.
Maybe Marlene's gonna kiss him.
Lupin's gonna be physically ill.
He will. He's gonna feel sick. Oh, she kissed me. Gross. Or maybe she's gonna kiss him and he's gonna go back to the common room and be like, I was thinking about Ferox the whole time. That was weird for me. What does that mean? When I thought about it being her, I was uncomfortable. But then I thought of Professor Ferox and I felt better. That fluttery feeling came back again. Now I need a break. I'm just going to go to the loo while we wait for our friend here.
It looks like Noel's not quite ready yet either, so that's perfect.
Just gotta pee. I gotta go out here for a few minutes.
Oh, Lupin, you and your Ferox fantasies. No, hold on. I can hear you. I just need to fix the setting.
Is he there?
Yep. All right. How's it going, Noel?
It's going good.
Let me just make sure. You want to say something for me real quick?
The quick brown fox jumped over the, what is it? Lazy river? I forgot.
The lazy dog.
Lazy dog.
Lazy river. Your water safari here. All right, I just wanted to make sure that it was picking up your voice. I am like paranoid about that after the last time where it didn't pick you up for like the first chapter.
Oh yeah, did it work out? Was it better last time?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Let's see. All right.
Oh, I'm over here. Is this me?
Yep.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, how have you been?
Good, good. Pretty quiet week actually. So nothing too crazy.
Ah, that's nice.
How about you?
It's been better.
Well, I mean, we just read a very interesting chapter in All the Young Dudes, so that's definitely a plus.
Nice.
We had a very serious debate.
Yeah, so I'll bring up this debate to you so you can put in your input, as we normally do with our end of discussion debates. Oh, by the way, Dan says hi.
Oh, hello, Dan.
Chat. Okay, so spoilers. In this previous chapter, a person was injured by the Whomping Willow.
Okay.
Do you think
No. He was smacked in the face by the Whomping Willow. And he is now blind.
Oh shit.
And he is now going to America where they are experimenting with ocular potions. So his family is about to be in debt for the rest of their lives.
Is this a legal question? Because I don't know.
It is not a legal question. It is a biomedical question.
Again,
biomagical question.
Biomagical question.
Okay, just hit me.
But the key is he was smacked in the face. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Smacked in the face, blind, in debt.
All right. So it started out with me asking the question: could Madame Pomfrey or any magic healer heal the brain after there's been, blunt force trauma? But also, would the Whomping Willow smacking him in the face be considered magic damage? Because we know...
Like, would there be a magical component to the blunt force trauma? Because it is a magical plant.
So your question is twofold. So
Yes.
The first question about the brain damage thing, it's actually a really interesting question because I think studies have shown that blunt force head trauma, if you recover, your identity could be completely different. Like you could wake up with a new personality,
speaking a new language, all kinds of wild stuff.
And so if there's any magic to be had in the real world, it's probably the experiential self experiencing the world. Like the fact that we're conscious is magic, I guess you could run with that. So what was the question again?
So the concept is that magical healers are able to heal any kind of non-magical injury. A non-magical injury with relative ease, right? They can regrow bones, blah, 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 mend cuts, yada, yada, yada. But when it comes to magical injuries, it's a lot like muggles treating muggle injuries. So if you have like Lockhart, or curses, things like that. So they're not just quick fixes. They have to do their magic research.
They have to do like surgery, and there can
be magic surgery, whatever that looks like.
Magical equivalent. Okay.
Right. So the question is, this kid obviously received blunt force trauma from a magical plant. Was there a magical component to that blunt force trauma? And if there was, could they help him heal?
So my question is, what form would this magical component, how would that manifest? We already know that there's blunt head trauma because the Whomping Willow whomped him. So we know that, but what could be the extracurricular
effects?
Yeah.
Well, that's the question.
Well, I mean, we already know he wasn't too smart to begin with because he was playing around the Whomping Willow. With a name like Whomping, why would you ever think
they were playing? They were all playing a game to see who could get closest to touching the trunk.
Classic. Well, if this kid wakes up and he's gonna be a Newt level student, all of a sudden, then maybe we can start talking about magical,
Right? I feel like
So-
we don't have enough information.
yeah. I mean, is there some weird sediment in the bark of the Whomping Willow that can like grow in your brain and weird shit like that? I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know enough.
Maybe it's just gonna make
It's
him
an
a
interesting
genius.
question, though.
My argument was I think that treating magical brain damage is just as difficult as trying to heal muggle brain damage. And the best examples that we have of that are Lockhart and the Longbottoms.
Lockhart, yeah, definitely, and yeah, the Longbottoms. I'm
Because
also
they
thinking
obviously are not fixed. Right?
Right.
Fixed. You know what I mean? Like,
and even Harry regrowing the bones in his arm, even that took a minute. Like that was not just like poof, you're fixed. Like that was some magical surgery type stuff.
but it was a magical solution to a magical issue. Because Madame Pomfrey says if he broke it, she says if you'd have just come in with your arm broken, I could fix it like that. But because Lockhart used magic and made his bones disappear, now they have to have the more complicated magical solution, which takes a lot longer and is a lot more painful.
Why didn't Harry remember that spell more often later on when he was going up against the Death Eaters? Seriously, just vanish their bones.
This is a great
All the Death Eaters are just piles of meat jelly.
a great trivia question is what is the spell that Lockhart uses there? It's something like rum something, I don't know.
Brecciam. Amendo.
Brecciam, yeah, Brecciam. Oh my god. Did he invent that? I always thought Lockhart maybe just made that up.
I feel like he kind of just thought he knew what he was.
From one of his people.
He didn't know what he was doing.
It would have been great. Have Fenrir Greyback or something just running, and all of a sudden legs just jellified. Bones gone.
Bones gone.
It's probably a variation on the jelly legs jinx.
Could be.
That's my theory.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Harry Potter musical. Why can't I remember that the counter curse is just on Jellify?
Oh man. Okay, so D&D, magical monster plants deal only bludgeoning damage, not magical damage.
But this isn't D&D. This is Harry Potter.
Well, no, but D&D is, you might as well say
it's might be different. The rules might be different. I'm just saying.
D&D and the Silmarillion are the Bibles of fantasy, and if anything is outside of that, they're wrong.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I don't know. The water that Treebeard gives Merry and Pippin makes them grow like 6 inches. There's magic in the water. There could be magic in the tree. We don't know.
Well, maybe the D&D textbook in the Silmarillion, maybe that's like the Old Testament, right? And then now whatever comes after is the new. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
So Dan makes an excellent point.
Clash of religions here.
He thinks that getting rid of the Death Eater's bones is better than making Voldemort inflate like Marge. But I think making Voldemort inflate like Marge is a very lovely concept. And I quite enjoy that. Wormtail! Get me down! Wormtail!
Let the air out.
I mean, he could already fly, so...
Yeah, but maybe...
I just picture Wormtail like poking him and him just like flying around like a balloon, just let go now.
Bellatrix, don't touch me! Stop it!
Don't put your finger there!
The best part about that is it ever clear that Harry means to do that to Marge, or is he just so angry that he just like...
He's just so angry.
It's totally an accident. It's one
of those things like the glass at the zoo.
He can't to do it. He can't control his magic at that point, yeah.
He lets the emotions control him.
Oh my god, Voldemort floating. Lucius! I need your wand! Lucius, give me your wand!
Alright, but now...
up to me.
Now, that's very funny. But Can we imagine Voldemort with no bones? He'd be like an octopus just flopping around.
Yeah, but then he could pull some Mr. Fantastic stuff and start going through doorway, keyholes and doorways. That'd be scary.
Voldemort just slithering under a door jam.
He'd be
Yeah,
like,
that'd
Nagini, let's go on an adventure.
Finally, Nagini, we can be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Nagini could have a lot more fun together.
By the way, you guys, did you see this new trailer for Fantastic Beasts 3 that
We
just
did.
dropped?
We
We
did.
did, actually.
She was
I
not a huge
mean,
fan of
It's kind of looks whack. I don't know.
I was not impressed. The
there's
only
some
thing I
things I liked, but
the only thing I really liked was the casting of Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald, which we talked about earlier. Other than that, it does look like Jacob is kind of is going back to being the more entertaining aspect of it. But that trailer violates one of the principal rules of the
Yeah.
Potterverse. Muggles cannot use wands.
He never uses it. He just holds it.
Well, why are they giving it to him? Because they're potentially dangerous to Muggles.
I don't
Like
think
there are stories in the Potterverse of like Muggles getting a hold of wands and the wands like backfire and like blow up their houses. Like they're dangerous for Muggles to use because Muggles like wave them around and then shit happens.
But I don't think it was an actual wand. It looked just like a stick. Like it didn't look.
I think
like
it's a wand.
Hold-
I think it's a wand, and there's gonna be somehow he's gonna be able to like do magic or something. Like, why is he at Hogwarts? First of all, I haven't even seen these movies, and I'm just like, the rules are there's no rules anymore.
Well, I mean, I've seen both of them, and they had a perfect ending. The first one was perfect, I thought. And they could have just let Jacob ride into the sunset and we never hear from him again. But they brought him back for the second one to be the funny guy. And
Right.
it's just, why are you still here? You provide
mean,
nothing.
He did look
And,
like the best part of that trailer, though, to be honest.
And that's so sad, though.
Also,
man.
who's the young guy?
Which
it looks
young
like
guy?
Snape.
He does kind of look like Snape.
Oh, Ezra Miller? Are we talking about
Yeah.
Rowlings?
Who?
Well, we're talking about Aurelius Dumbledore here.
Oh, okay. So he's what's his face in the previous two movies, right?
Yeah,
The
Credence, what's his face?
Credence, yeah, the Obscurus or whatever they call him.
Yep. Revealed to
Jesus.
be Dumbledore's long lost brother. At the end of the second one. And yeah, I just don't know. I feel like this is a classic case of a truncated story. They're trying to fit it all in. There's no chance in hell they make a 4 or 5. I don't think. So they're just trying to fit it in. I just want the duel. Just give me the duel. Dumbledore versus Grindelwald. The whole movie. I don't care. I just want an epic ass duel.
Can I also?
We're
This
actually,
is like
I'm
really-
just gonna play the trailer. All right.
Wait, can I just be really nitpicky for just 1 second before you play it? I got it.
Wait till after so you can get all your nitpicking out at once.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Here we go. Go back. Oh, too far.
Dumbledore asked that I give you something, Jacob.
Yeah, I guess that could be.
It's a wand.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
I have so many problems with that.
All right. So I'm not like the biggest fan of Fantastic Beasts, so I don't know how much I can actually comment on the whole.
It's very hard to say because we haven't watched the movies, but I judge so incredibly harshly for having not watched these movies. But I
still think you should watch the first one. It's really good.
I will watch them, but I just who are all the other characters? Was that Lestrange? Was one of them a Lestrange?
Even as bad as they are, watch that. It's see, we're getting encouraged to watch. We need to watch them. We do. Oh, it's in Brazil? That's where they are? Is that what was that the question you're answering? Where they were in that?
Dumbledore.
I come. Thanks, amigo.
You need to watch them because so many of your questions are explained. Like, I know
fair
who
enough, fair.
Aurelius Dumbledore is. I know who he is to the story.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a Lestrange. McGonagall is in there somewhere too, even though canonically it doesn't make sense for her to be there. But I know she's like in there somewhere.
Lestrange
I
died in
mean,
a
I'm
previous film.
surprised you
Oh,
haven't put
okay.
your bitterness aside and just watched them already. I don't know. I feel like you should just watch them.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't.
Considering that Rowling wrote them too.
She
Right?
wrote them.
Like, here's the thing. This
She
is
wrote
what
a
happens.
script, and then the studio picked the pieces that they liked and trashed the rest.
Let me give you a glimpse
We have no
into
evidence
this.
of that.
All right,
Yes,
9
we
times
do.
out of 10, what's gonna happen is
Yes, we do have
he
evidence.
doesn't
of
want
that.
to watch it. He's gonna refuse to. No, it's awful. There is a 90% chance that she's gonna watch these movies and be absolutely in love.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, it is Harry Potter, so maybe a 70% chance. My only complaint.
I'm sure I will probably like the first one.
Yeah,
I'm sure I probably will like the first one. I have no qualms with trying to see it from an open mind, but I just have issues with the butchery of the source material and the rules. That's all I'm saying. And I've been traumatized by the Harry Potter films. I've been traumatized.
Okay, so Dan admits you won't love them, but they're necessary to watch.
Yeah, I'll watch them at some point. I'm not saying I won't watch them. But I am also not saying that I won't nitpick the crap out of them the entire time because I can't help myself. There are other fandoms, there are other things that I can just kind of sit back and relax and just appreciate them for what they are. I don't think I can do that with Harry Potter. I just don't think I can.
Not knowing enough about the fandom, nor have I watched the Fantastic Beasts, my only nitpick is that the CGI looks the same as in the Deathly Hallows. Like, the CGI still doesn't look that great. I was expecting more.
The kid flying around Hogwarts on the broomstick, whatever that was, that like shot of the Quidditch player.
It looked like Harry flying away from the dragon.
It looks pretty.
Almost looked like stock footage from that.
Or a Quidditch match.
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
We had a plan. We were gonna actually talk about stuff, and then we just got on this Harry Potter tangent for half a minute.
Well, it's just an open discussion. We really
that's true. We didn't have a plan.
We just had backup ideas.
Okay, and I know this is a stupid thing to say, but we all know Dumbledore.
Yeah.
We all know he's a bit of an eccentric gentleman.
Yeah.
He likes purple and velvet.
Uh-huh.
What the hell is he wearing?
He's a well-dressed man. You know what? I think actually
that suit should be purple.
I agree.
He should be like
I think it is
extra looking.
Good representation of him. But my only complaint is his beard's shaved and well kept. How long ago was this? Shouldn't his beard be longer?
He should be auburn haired at this point. I don't think he's
This is 60-70 years before the Harry Potter books.
Oh, okay, so yeah, maybe.
But he defeats Grindelwald in 1945.
I just remember when he's talking about going to talk to
Tom
Voldemort, Tom at the time. They say his beard's down to his chest or something. So he had a long beard at that point in time.
And it was auburn.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just saying, you can put him in a suit because he showed up at the orphanage in a suit, but he's got to stand out. He's Dumbledore.
He's got to have that Dumb and Dumber tuxedo, you know.
He's Dumbledore. He's gonna look like Dumbledore. He just looks like they're literally at Hogwarts dressed in suits. Where's the wizard clothes? I'm just saying, I want the wizard clothes to go with the magic. I want the look of the characters to go with the magic. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're
It's-
gonna have an aneurysm if you watch these movies. I think.
I know I am. I will watch them, but dear Lord, Evan's gonna listen to a lot of shit coming out of my mouth the entire time.
I think you just need to watch them by yourself.
Yeah.
You're just gonna go in the bedroom. I'm just gonna close the door.
Yeah, if I can sit through it without shutting it off halfway through because I get annoyed.
I'll lock the door. You can't come out before you finish the movie.
I gotta sit through the Nagini thing too. I already know the Nagini thing is coming, and then I gotta sit and watch it. Maybe
But
the
apparently
animals will
it has
offset it
some
a little
epic
bit.
fight scenes, apparently.
Maybe
So
the
it's like
animals,
an action movie.
but there's animals. Maybe the cuteness of the animals will offset it a little bit. Like that boat
Yeah.
truckle is pretty cute. I know there's a Niffler. They're cute. Like
Just watch them on 420, like you said.
make them 420 movies. I'll have to be inebriated if I'm gonna watch them. I can't be sober if I have to watch them.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
watch.
I just
she's gonna
figured
like
we should have at least talked about it since it's pretty big Harry Potter news right now.
Oh, 100%. I know.
Yeah.
I saw it come out, and yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm so cynical.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I just have a belief that J.K. Rowling had some pretty deep insight into this narrative. And even though the studio may have messed with it, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. I think she had a 5-film series that she wanted to do. And after the second movie kind of underperformed, I think they have shoehorned everything into this third one. So obviously they've messed with her vision a little bit. But
I think
I
a
still
lot
like
of
to
it.
think it is her vision. I still think it is her vision. So that's just my opinion.
I mean, I guess it couldn't be worse than what they did to the Harry Potter movies, you know?
That's
Right.
why I'm questioning how much of Rowling is actually in the story.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe a little, maybe a lot.
I think the
You'll have to
nugget
watch
of
them
the
to find out.
I think the nugget of the story is in there, but how much she wrote that got axed, from what I've read, there was quite a lot that got chopped from the second movie. Maybe not the first one.
The
But
first
that was-
one was definitely all her. Definitely.
But I read a
And-
lot of analysis on the second one that she had pages and pages of script that would have explained things a lot better, and they axed it, and that's why the story feels so chunky without any explanation, because they axed a lot of what would have been exposition on her part or from her brain or whatever. So
I would agree. And the
Oh.
second one is definitely a mess. So no questions there. But oh well. I
So
still
maybe-
feel like it's cool. I'm just glad we have these movies, even if they're just a random throwaway to the greater canon.
Well, maybe fingers crossed that Rowling releases the full story and actually writes the
That'd be-
series Fantastic Beasts.
that I would be down to read them.
And then you wouldn't have to worry about them misrepresenting the characters or anything, because you can
Plus,
just
Newt
picture
is a
them how you
great-
want.
Like I love Newt.
Well, that is the reason why I do want to sit and watch at least the first one, because Newt does sound great. He does. He sounds like he's lovely. And I
Yeah,
chose that
and
word
he comes
specifically. He just seems like he's lovely.
Oh
There-
yeah, he comes off really good. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to read Dan's comment. There's a lot of visuals over story, but the story is there, but subtle. I kind of got that because, like, every scene there was, like, a fantastic beast, you know, some cute little animal. It seems like they're kind of, like...
Or
"Oh,
some
cute little
or some kind of
niffler,
visual effect.
truckle. Cute little scorpions doing dances, you know?
Well, I mean, it is Fantastic Beasts, right? And that's what Newt does. So that for Newt
Yeah.
to be a
He's a mad
centerpiece.
zoologist. How have you not seen it?
That's
just-
it. Okay. Yeah. All right, let's hear your answer to this. Go ahead.
I'm just messing with you, but
Answer to what? Oh no, I say all the time that if I was in this,
Zoology.
if I lived in the Harry Potter universe, that is what I would be doing. I would be doing what Newt does.
Well, yes.
That's a given.
We'll have to have some pints of butter beer and just muster on through at least the first one.
I don't think I'll
she's
hit
gonna
the
need
first.
fire whiskey for that.
Maybe not for the first one, but for the second one, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. But I feel like the whole animals being in all the movies, you got to have Newt tie in somehow. So you got to have animals in there somehow in order for him to.
I just mean
play a
like
part.
every scene of that trailer, there was some sort of like cute little animal.
Well, he's got the little bow truckle that like rides on his shoulder. I mean,
Yeah, his little buddy.
Cute, his little bow truckle buddy.
In the end, it's gonna like give it to Hagrid for safekeeping.
No, because no, don't talk about the bow truckles.
That'd be cool. If they set up Hagrid in this new one, oh my god. That'd be crazy.
How would they set up Hagrid? How old would Hagrid even be?
They bring that
because
when was Hagrid at
something? I don't know.
He was
his
there.
Father.
Maybe his dad or something.
No, when was Hagrid there?
Well, because Hagrid,
Tom Riddle was there, which was like the 30s or 40s, right? Because if Voldemort was 70, you said
Voldemort was 70
in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then he was 11, so 80. We'll just say 80 years prior. So yeah, it'd be like 30s. Well, no.
Well, the Fantastic Beasts movies take place in the 20s or 30s. Dumbledore defeated Grindelwald in 1945. Okay. Voldemort was born in 26/27. Hagrid. They'd have to have like Hagrid's dad or something be in a movie.
No, because cool. Hagrid was at school with Tom.
Right. I'm saying the movies take place in like the 20s or 30s. Voldemort's a baby right now.
Okay, so it'd be like the 40s that he'd be there. All right, I was thinking he'd be there in the 30s, but yeah, you said 1927. Right. Okay.
December 31st.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, maybe we should leave this topic aside before we get any more heated.
You should have seen us before.
I was going to say, this has
apparently
been an intense
the whole
night for debates.
Whomping Willow debate, like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You didn't hear me before talking about Remus being whiny.
Oh my god, yeah.
He was getting to me a little bit.
The second movie takes place in 1926. So, Voldemort is just being born.
Merope is pregnant.
Merope is pregnant.
Tom Riddle Jr. is potentially...
Tom Riddle Sr. is...
No, Tom Riddle Sr. is the dad.
Yeah.
Tom Riddle Jr.
And he's there under some weird spell.
No, Tom Riddle Jr. is Voldemort's dad. Tom Riddle Sr. is Voldemort's granddad. Because that's how Rowling does the whole confusion with the parents and stuff.
There should be a wizarding version of the show Maury.
Either way, Merope's pregnant, and Tom Riddle is wandering around not having a clue of who he is. Or what's happening. While Dumbledore is gallivanting around with Newt.
Yeah.
Doing whatever they do. I don't know. Saving the world.
Either way, yeah. Tom Riddle is being manipulated, and there is a little Tom in her belly right now.
Yes. A wizard version of Maury would be great.
And they could use, like, Veritaserum.
Instead of a DNA test, they use Veritaserum.
Ooh. Oh man, I love that meme from Maury where he tells him you are not the father, and he just starts breakdancing on stage.
Oh my god.
Just imagine Voldemort.
I can dance.
You are not the father.
I can dance. I tap my foot. My little foot. Quirrell and Voldemort's dynamic in that play is so great.
Hagrid is a few years younger. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because Riddle's a
Riddle,
prefect.
yeah. But I mean, it would
Or
kind
head
of work
boy
out,
or
you know. Hagrid has Aragog and this big breakout, so they bring Newt in, who's a magical zoologist. Like, look into this for us, eh? Remember, you know, we were teaming up against Grindelwald. Do me a solid for your old buddy Dumbledore, you know.
I wonder what Newt is doing, like, at that time. What's Newt doing when Voldemort's at school? What's he up to?
Maybe
is he just
nothing.
traveling the world?
Maybe at the end of Fantastic Beasts he dies.
He does. No, he doesn't.
How do you know?
Because in the textbook Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them that Harry has, like, there's a little blurb in the back. Newt's commander is, like, still alive. There's like a little blurb in the back about Newt Scamander, the author, and he's still alive. He's old, but he's still alive.
Okay, never mind.
His whereabouts are unknown. No,
That's I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. That burning bird in the trailer. What was the burning bird in the trailer?
Phoenix.
Is that Fox?
Fox. Or maybe it was Fox's mother.
Is this? Do we get the start of
Do we ever have this discussion?
Fox's relationship with Dumbledore? Is this how they meet?
How are phoenixes born?
Eggs, like all birds. I don't know.
Which came first, the phoenix or the egg?
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or the ash.
I don't know. Maybe they're born out of the ash. I don't know.
Are they like
Maybe
dragon's eggs?
something to do with the Big Bang.
Right?
Maybe it's mitosis.
Maybe when they turn to ash, if you split the pile into two piles,
Two
birds will come out.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, that'd be great. I would love that. You would just dole out little piles of ash and just have little birds.
Just 16 little phoenix.
Yeah. I don't know how that
And I will
works.
create an army. And then I will cry into everyone, and everyone will be healed.
Yeah, there you go.
An army for good.
A good army. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there aren't more phoenixes in hospitals.
Yeah,
Well,
St. Mungo should definitely have one.
I think the idea is that they're just so rare.
Yeah.
You know? Also, Dumbledore's relationship with Fawkes is like a really rare relationship. I feel like most phoenixes would not allow themselves to be kept domestically.
Yeah, no.
It'd be cool if we see.
But maybe they have like a supply of vials of phoenix tears.
That's the expensive stuff.
Plus,
Yes.
as we know, the phoenix from Fox, the Harry's wand and Voldemort's wand both have Fox's feather in them.
Yep.
So that'd be cool if we see something related to that. Maybe Ollivander shows up in these movies. You never know.
Maybe Ollivander just shows up and he just...
Yeah, right.
Not even on screen. He's just gonna casually walk by behind screen on a scene and just walk past Fox and just rip a feather out and walk away.
Hey, do you ever think Slughorn tried to sneak into Dumbledore's office to steal some phoenix tears?
Oh, probably.
Because, you know, he
has a Felix Felicis hangover and needs a cure. Fox.
Well, no, he wants to sell it on the market because he takes Aragog's venom.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, like, maybe he's like, oh, if I could just get into his office.
I don't know. I feel like Slughorn respects Dumbledore too much to do that.
I agree.
So
but if he got caught, he would just turn himself into a chair.
That's
true. We're gonna have to watch Carlin Brothers. Apparently, I guess they explain all this.
Katie's mentioned them before, the Super Carlin Brothers and all their Harry Potter theories. They do a lot. They do all of them. I've never watched them, but
feel like we should research some of these. We always come up with these weird theories, but it's always on the spot. We never do any research into them afterwards. I'm like,
because
except the pensieve, but that was my obsession.
Well, what was our last theory? Our last theory that this is not a Harry Potter theory, but the last theory you came up with was that in the last chapter of A Song of Ice and Fire that we read, Maester Pycelle actually made a good point and wasn't useless, and you said maybe he's a man from Flea Bottom
who was tired
of eating a bowl of brown, and he killed Grand Maester Pycelle, and he's actually impersonating him, and that's why Grand Maester Pycelle actually
he wanted to eat bowls of many colors.
So that
chapter actually isn't up yet. That chapter is going to be up tomorrow, where we have that discussion.
But the point is, 90% of the time, the theories, they're solid.
Genius. Prove me wrong.
I cannot.
Genius.
Oh. I feel like we came up with another one yesterday, but I don't remember.
I'm absolutely brilliant. We did, but it was kind of spoilerish, and I have to cut it out for that reason.
Oh, I know I talked about me clenching my teeth.
Oh, yeah, and Stannis.
Me and Stannis.
Oh, yeah, I remember you said that. Oh, no. Well, I'm glad your teeth situation is better than you thought it was, I guess.
Oh, no. There was another one. That Varys is a faceless man.
Oh, Varys is a faceless man.
Yeah, because he came from
Essos.
the Free Cities. Originally, he says that man, the Free Cities was the one who cut him. And he has this strange knack of blending in and disappearing and being, all his little birds. So maybe he knows the ways. Faceless man.
That'd be cool.
It's possible.
It's the best power.
You know what? I just realized Noel has the Tully look.
Oh, yeah.
Noel could be a Tully.
All right.
Or
you
a
are
Stark.
You are a Targaryen. I am a Stark.
You told me last time I was a Lannister.
Or a Lannister, that's what I meant.
I get to be...
You wanted to be a Targaryen. You are a Stark, though.
A Lannister.
A Lannister.
You just told me I was... What?
Okay, you know what I mean. I can't get the houses right.
Okay, apparently, because I'm like,
You're one of them.
So is Noel a Stark or a Tully? Because the Starks kind of have the Tully look.
I think probably a Tully.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Noel's a Tully?
Yeah.
Lord of River Run.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sigil is a Trout.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Wow, Dan thinks I'm a Tully. I don't know how I feel about that.
What? You don't want to be on Team Tully with me?
Yeah, what's the problem with Tullys? Huh?
I'm just saying I don't know if he's trying to tell me I'm like Liza or Cat. What? Oh, and Noel is a Lannister apparently.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Oh. Noel, you sitting on a pile of money you didn't tell us about? Pile of gold?
Oh, man. I don't know why I would be that. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm kind of curious why Dan is throwing these out here. What is his basis for these?
He hasn't
decisions?
questioned me as a Stark, so I'm sticking with Stark.
Yeah, but you have the Baratheon look about you.
No, I don't. I look like Rob. I have like a reddish beard.
That's true.
Black hair.
But your Lex is totally Catelyn-ish. Oh my god!
Yes.
Well, look on the bright side. You get to be Stone. What's her name?
Lady
Stoneheart.
Stoneheart.
Yeah.
Son bitch.
Whatever it is.
I am offended. He thinks I act like Catelyn.
You truly do sound like a Lannister now. Lady Stone bitch. Oh man.
I just swear when I don't know what the name is.
Well, Dan, Noel is a redhead. He is not blonde. Maybe that's
True.
the
Guilty.
confusion.
Maybe the light, making you look like a strawberry blonde.
I guess he could have said I acted like Liza. Then I'd really be insulted.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be cool to be a Targaryen because then you could just be crazy and it's just expected.
Every time a Targaryen
You're
is
like that.
born, the gods flip a coin.
You're like that one person at work that gets away with everything, and they're like, "Oh, that's just how he is."
He's just a Targaryen. Leave him alone.
Just-
He's fine.
They burn
be
someone every
awesome.
once in a while, but otherwise they're all right.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to have that excuse.
think everyone
You
love that
you have some
excuse.
people that you wouldn't mind burning every now and then.
So then, which house is the one that everything they do apparently it's wrong and they can't win at any cost, and everyone's always saying that they do it wrong, and everyone tries to throw them under the bus. Who's that?
The Mormonts.
Really? Who's always throwing them under the bus?
I don't know.
That was
That was the first house I thought of. Getting thrown under the bus. Yeah, I don't know.
or everyone's always saying like, you did that wrong. You did that wrong. You did that wrong. You didn't even do it, but I'm gonna say you did it, and it was bad. Who's that?
Greyjoys.
Oh my God! at work-
Theon.
That's me at work. I'm
Yeah,
Theon.
You're Theon. Whatever you do is wrong.
Everything I do at work is wrong, so that's got to be it. I'm Theon at work.
Wow.
Oh, Dan Williams says that
Cross.
Biggs is a cross between Samwell Tarly and Gendry, but in a good way.
I mean, I guess if I got Gendry's looks and Sam's brains, I'll take it.
That's a win.
Yeah.
I won't say no to that. That's fine with me.
You gonna make it?
I don't know. Oh man, I don't know. I laughed so hard yesterday; it was ridiculous.
Oh, so that was something. I saw an article. I sent you this. So there was an article that
We totally, by the way, didn't go off of any of the ideas Noel
No,
had for
we
the
didn't.
stream, and I'm
but
sorry. 'Cause
we're
those
on
were good
the-
ideas.
Yeah, it was. We're on the topic.
We'll do them sometime.
Of Game of Thrones and Harry Potter, and we only have a few minutes left. So, which Game of Thrones character do you think would be most likely to wield the Deathly Hallows?
Oh.
There was actually an article I read where they listed like the top people from Game of Thrones.
Who would...
I also have a follow-up question after this that you can kind of think of too. Which Harry Potter character do you think would be most likely to survive Westeros and become
And sit on
and
the
sit
Iron
the
Throne.
Iron Throne?
Oh my.
My gut instinct just wants to say McGonagall just because. Oh, okay.
Well, my first instinct
Just
is
Game
to
of
say-
Thrones ends with like Tyrion walking into the Great Hall and just McGonagall sitting upon the Iron Throne.
Have a biscuit, Tyrion.
Cuts to credits.
That's a tough question. Oh man. Well, definitely not Dumbledore.
Yeah, no.
No. Hagrid would be Robert, so no.
I don't know. That's a tough question. Okay, easier one is definitely which Game of Thrones character
Would wield the
Wait.
Hallows.
follows. Jon Snow. Easy. He survived death. He's
Yeah.
the master of death.
I was
And,
gonna say John. I think is the most likely candidate to wield the Hallows. He's also the
Plus,
least.
Destiny
And-
around him.
He's
Yeah.
also like the least power hungry and ambitious in that
Yeah,
way.
he would be the most likely to take the cloak, I think.
Yeah, he would take the cloak for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want the wand. He didn't want Longclaw.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want the wand.
But if he had to wield it in
He
a
would-
bad situation, he would.
He would
Yeah.
if his duty commanded him to do it, he would.
Right.
I think Arya would just be killing people left, right, and center with that wand. It would not be good.
Oh yeah.
She'd be wearing the cloak, assassinating people all over the place.
Yeah, her list.
Throw the stone away. She wouldn't want that.
Her list would get real short, real fast.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. Which Harry Potter sits on the Iron Throne? I really don't know. I'm drawing a big blank here.
So
Percy Weasley.
Oh man. Maybe Kingsley Shacklebolt, because he ends up being Minister of Magic at the end of Harry Potter.
I think I'm gonna say Neville.
Neville? But Neville's not manipulative enough to navigate the Game of Thrones universe.
No, but he's willing to do what it takes in the end.
Yeah, but he's not willing to do. There are certain lines he won't cross.
Organize the whole body of Hogwarts, well, the DA at least, into fighting against everyone.
Right, but I'm saying sometimes when you play the Game of Thrones, you have to do really unsavory shit, and I don't know if Neville would be willing to do those things. I don't know.
I like this question though, like cross-pollinating.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other possible ones. How could we do it with Lord of the Rings? And I'm trying to think of another property that would be a good candidate. And I don't want to say Star Wars. Because I'm pretty Star Wars'd out.
Yeah, me too.
Fair enough. What Harry Potter character would most likely wield the Infinity Gauntlet?
Oh, hell yeah. Now you're talking my language.
Oh,
Oh, wait, before we get on that, so Dan says Dean gets the throne.
I love it.
That's great.
And yes, Neville Book 7 did a lot. Like
I didn't say he didn't do a lot.
The man has potential.
I didn't say he didn't. I'm just saying sometimes you gotta do bad things. Like really bad things.
Neville did bad things. He went against the establishment.
Bad things like is what Cersei does is bad things. Papa Lannister bad thing, like bad things.
It didn't work out for them.
I know. Those are the stakes. Those are the opponents you have. I'm just saying, like.
Just saying, he played the long con. Like no one suspected Neville.
That's true.
He just rode by, and then when his opportunity came, he took it.
Who would wield the Infinity Gauntlet?
What, in Harry Potter world?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, truly, I would say Harry. You know, he ended up with the
Harry
Deathly
was my
Hallows, so he just kind of
Harry.
Yeah.
All right,
but
take Harry out of the
say no,
equation
Harry.
then, because he's the easy answer. Right? Because
Yeah.
it's always going to be Harry,
Right
right?
answer, though, because like he dies and Tony Stark dies and stuff like that. It makes a lot of sense. But okay, leaving aside Harry.
Yeah, I guess we can't just say, you know, he's the hero, so he's gonna.
Well, because Harry is the right answer, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. But I guess based on their personalities, if we were to throw them into the Marvel universe, not following their story.
Right.
I think Snape with the gauntlet could be pretty interesting.
You know, I think Neville would actually take.
He
the
just
gauntlet.
wants Neville to just do all of
No,
it.
but here's the thing. Okay, so
His answer is going to be Neville every time, because Neville is the dude.
No, I have a better argument for Neville in this one, because at the end, Tony Stark, like, faces, you know, Thanos, and just straight up sacrifices himself.
Oh, just
Then
like
in the
Neville
end,
pulls the hat,
sword out,
the
yeah,
sword out of
twists
the
his
hat.
knife,
Yeah.
and- So I think it would be Neville.
Yeah.
He's most likely to do the Tony Stark.
But Voldemort would get it first, because he would be willing to pay whatever the cost was.
Yes.
Although I don't know about the Soul Stone, because he doesn't love anything. So I don't know if he'd be able to get the Soul Stone. He'd have to have somebody get it for him. He'd have to have, like, Bellatrix, get
That's
it
where
for
his
him.
nose went. He always left his nose.
Yeah,
Maybe-
like I said, I think Snape with the gauntlet would be pretty interesting because what would he do? Like, I don't know if he would do what Tony did. I don't know if he would do what Thanos did.
Yeah, what would he do? Just
That's very interesting.
I feel like he would probably, honestly, bring back Lily,
Probably.
or turn back time
Yeah.
or something. Just imagine that, though.
But he
I am Severus.
if he brought back Lily, I don't know if he would bring back Lily, but he'd have to like turn back time all the way back until he said the words. I want
Yeah.
Slughorn with the gauntlet.
Yes, Slughorn with the
gauntlet would
Oh
be
man, now I'm just picturing that epic battle at the end in Endgame. Just Slughorn running out in his green
With the
pajamas.
gauntlet.
with the gauntlet on.
He's all dosed up on Felix.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh.
only way.
That's
There
the
was
answer.
one way, one future.
Yep.
And he's just like, I'm just gonna get wasted off this Felix and just charge into the battlefield.
That's the answer. Slughorn.
He'd snap his finger and just crystallized
Okay.
pineapple just starts raining out of the sky.
Yeah. Yes.
No, you were supposed to get rid of Voldemort.
Or he'd just walk up to all the Avengers and be like, "Can I have your autograph? Can we hang out?"
You'll remember me after this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lord of the Rings, which Harry Potter character would return the ring? Who would be the ring bearer?
Other than
Alright,
Harry.
I got two for you.
Other than Harry.
Who would be the ring bearer,
Other than Harry.
and who would be Gollum?
Ooh.
Would be
Who would
Gollum.
let the ring consume him?
Voldemort.
You think so?
That was just
They
a
kind
gut
of look
answer.
the same.
Not that they look the same, but Voldemort has
I
been
think it's like baby Voldemort, Gollum.
no, because Voldemort has been so corrupted by his ambition and his own ego and his own desire for power. But I guess that makes him Sauron more than Gollum. I guess.
Yeah, I saw him more of a Sauron type.
Yeah.
Bring me my precious.
Oh wait, Pettigrew's Gollum.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say Wormtail would be Gollum.
Yeah, I guess so.
He gets corrupted and
Yeah.
betrays everyone,
Yeah.
which is exactly what Gollum does to Frodo.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
That's actually
Yeah, that's good.
So I guess Harry
Pretty good,
would
yeah.
be Frodo,
And Ron is Sam.
and
Easy.
Ron would be
Sam.
Sam.
Neville's Sam. Come on.
And, Merry and Pippin are Fred and George.
Merry and Pippin are
Oh,
Frodo. George.
definitely.
Neville
hands
can't
down.
be Sam. If Harry's
No,
Frodo,
he-
Neville can't be Sam.
I know, but
You-
it's Sam.
He just
saves
wants to
days.
shoehorn
It's
Neville
true.
into
Neville
everything.
Hagrid
is
is Tom
true hero.
Bombadil.
What's that?
Hagrid is Tom Bombadil.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
And Dumbledore is Elrond. Well, no, Dumbledore's Gandalf. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yep.
it's gotta be Gandalf.
So who is Elrond? Because I always
Hermione
liked
is Sam.
Hermione is Sam.
Yeah, Dan says Hermione is Sam.
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sam's the logical one, the smart one, who kind of gets him through everything.
Yeah, but he's Frodo's best friend.
I know, but
Who is
personality.
Harry's best friend?
I know, but personality-wise,
I don't know.
Ron
I'm
is
still-
Sam. Food. Ron, food.
yeah, but okay. So who's Hermione then?
Galadriel.
Yeah. Why not?
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
a perfect analogy because Tolkien wasn't big on female characters, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
there's
know.
like two.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
three.
Which sucks. Oh, wait. Eowyn. Hermione's Eowyn.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Eowyn. Yeah, Eowyn.
Eowyn.
That's a good analogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll,
And that
I'll accept
badass
that.
scene. I am no man. Oh,
Yeah. That's awesome. I can see Hermione pulling one of those.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Why don't you let Neville be Aragorn? That fits because Neville is very like
No,
low
actually,
key.
yeah, you're.
You don't
right.
really,
That
you know, and then
better.
Strider, you don't really know who he is. He very much like shies away from who he is, and then at the very end, he's like, "I am the king," and he like
Neville
comes
was
into his
supposed to
own.
be- Neville was
Yeah.
basically the chosen one too. I mean, Voldemort
Yeah.
just picked Harry, but
Okay, yeah. You guys
Yeah.
win. That's
Neville is
definitely better.
Aragorn.
Yeah.
And I feel like for Legolas, we got to have a badass Order of the Phoenix member. I'm thinking Sirius or Lupin.
To be
Um,
Legolas.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know though.
I guess who would be Gimli and who would be Legolas?
Mundungus Fletcher is Gimli. I don't know.
Well, I
'cause
think
they're
it-
both short.
I think it would be funny if Lupin was Legolas and Sirius was Gimli.
I think that would fit.
That would be the
better
more-
because
Like,
Sirius is
good.
more blunt and rough.
That's
And-
good.
Yeah.
Lupin is a little more refined and even keel. Sirius is very. All of his decisions are based on emotional reactions, or emotional. All of his those were all of his decisions are rooted. It's in the emotion, everything.
All right, so Dan makes a good point. What about Luna as Eowyn?
Luna's
Or
too
who
spacey.
would Luna be? I think Luna
I
is a
love
hard
Luna.
character to pin down.
Maybe Luna's Galadriel because she's like an elfin, kind of out there.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm
sh-
thinking.
And Luna drops like these random, pure
Pearls of
nuggets of wisdom
Yeah,
that are just brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a
And that would
Galadriel
make-
thing.
and that would make Xenophilius Elrond, which is awesome.
Yes, yes. Oh my god, I love that. I love.
That's weird how well Harry Potter fits with the Lord of the Rings
That's a great.
character-wise.
That's great. I love that. Oh, that's fantastic. Who's Draco Malfoy?
Boromir.
Boromir?
Bo-
Ah, yeah, you
Yeah.
know what? Actually, I like that. That makes Denethor Lucius.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch Lucius eat a tomato?
no. Oh, I bet you do though.
I would love to watch Lucius eat tomatoes. Not like that though. No one wants to
Hands-free.
see. No one wants to see that though. That one tomato. No one wants to see that.
No.
So who is Saruman? This is what I was thinking of. Is it
Ooh.
Snape? I don't know if it's. My first thought was Snape, but I don't know.
Snape is technically a good guy.
Maybe it's who's the guy from Durmstrang?
Karkaroff.
Karkaroff.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. They
Yeah.
look similar. See that?
But Karkaroff runs away.
So does Saruman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Saruman runs away. That's true.
They play a similar role.
To the Shire. Yeah, that's true. I guess that works.
See?
Karkaroff or Saruman plays a much bigger part in the story though than Karkaroff does.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Bellatrix.
Maybe.
Because Saruman is like Sauron's right-hand dude,
Yeah.
Mhm.
more or less.
Oh, okay. So I'll reveal what the article said for the Deathly Hallows. Back to my original.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So the original article gave the Deathly Hallows to Bran because
Okay.
I could see it.
yeah,
I could
he's
see
most likely not to want it, and also the most likely to go with death as an old friend.
and not be corrupted by the power of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, that's fair.
Makes sense.
This is all based off of the story of the show, though.
Not the
Oh, yeah.
books.
So yeah. So we'll have to look at the ending of the books if we ever get it, and maybe we could come back to this. But
Okay.
from the show, this is who they
So
thought.
Bran, most likely, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
which I could see.
I'll buy that. I could see Bran from
Yeah.
the show.
Makes sense. I mean, there's a reason they make him king at the end, so same reasons, you know.
Yeah. Well, spoilers. Well, I don't know. I hated the ending.
I assume everyone's seen the show.
I have so many. No, you're good. I was
No, we have
joking.
quite a few people who've watched the show for sure.
And who knows? I mean, I'm sure Martin will end it differently.
Well, that's okay. So my whole theory with the show is I think Martin told them exactly how everything ends. I think everything ends the right way, but I think they only haphazardly listen to Martin. They listen to what is going to happen, and they didn't take any notes from Martin about how it happens.
So we get like the same end results.
Where the characters end up is accurate. But I think everything that happens before that and their stories are complete BS.
Okay. I could see that.
So that's mine. And I understand they have to change it a little bit because they end up like cutting out characters from the book and that sort of thing.
And then they merge character storylines together. Like Jane Poole and Sansa get like merged into one person. There's no Lady Stoneheart at all.
Any reason why you want the books to end differently, Dan?
I
feel like I don't know. I'm okay with Bran as the king. Like I'm okay with that ending.
I wasn't too disappointed with the actual end points where like all the characters ended up. I wasn't unhappy with it. The journey there though, that sucked.
Yeah. There's a few things with the ending I would probably
I didn't appreciate how it's not gonna end up like I didn't appreciate Euron Greyjoy at all. I did not like how Stannis went out. Lots of stuff. That's a separate stream and a separate thing.
They cut off like half of Euron's story.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have anything cool because they didn't want to show his journey to get the horn or anything like that.
I didn't even include the horn in the story.
Exactly. So there was literally nothing they could do with the character other than he's here.
So, Noel, from your perspective, what do you think sounds cooler? Euron Greyjoy from the show, or Euron Greyjoy, blue-lipped pirate man with an eye patch who has Valyrian steel armor and a big old horn, and he wants to summon krakens from the depth of the sea and become like a god among mortals.
Definitely that. I mean, I like the actor they got to be Euron.
Me too.
I think he's a good actor. I just don't think they gave him much to do other than you're a villain, chew on scenery. That's it.
Yeah.
And that guy's good at that, so he did that. And I like that actor. But yeah, I mean, definitely the Kraken. Whatever you said, Kraken, I'm sold.
Yeah. Eye patch. Magic. All that stuff.
Yeah.
But I agree. The man had nothing to do.
Yeah, I think the whole Arya killing the Night King thing was poorly done. Definitely poorly done. Even if she kills him in the end and that's what she's supposed to do, they gotta do a little bit better job. Like that, it was so just off. And Theon's sacrifice.
I didn't mind Theon, actually. I thought it was quite appropriate. I thought Theon's death was appropriate.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
It was kind of weird how Arya just came out of nowhere, though.
Right?
Yeah.
I loved it when Arya was slaying the zombies. That shit was awesome.
With the big staff thing she had?
Yeah, that was a complete validation of everything she had worked for since the death of her family.
Mm-hmm.
And everything she'd been training for since that very day. And I loved that. It was so awesome as a character. It was like action as a character beat. I just thought it was totally sweet. But then when she jumped out of nowhere and stabbed the Night King, it's like, okay, I mean, whatever. I love Arya, so whatever. But
she's one of my favorite characters, and if she ends up killing the Night King, that would be awesome. But
we'll have to see if we even get a Night King.
The only thing that would have made that episode better was if I could see what was going on.
Such a good point. Why would they just drape everything in complete darkness? I had to turn the brightness up on my TV, and that
Yeah,
didn't
just to
help.
watch it.
Yeah,
I
so
know,
did
me
we.
too.
I turned off the lights at first. It was still like pitch black.
Give me
So I
2
turned up the
seconds.
brightness all the way, and still we could barely see anything. It was just awful.
Yeah, I still maintain the best episode, excuse me, of the final season was definitely a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms when Brienne of Tar is knighted. That was just really a good episode.
Oh yeah, 100%. I loved Brienne's ending, where she
Totally.
just ends it with writing Jaime's story in the book. I
So
thought her
cool.
ending was, out of everyone's, that ending was perfect by far.
Oh yeah, I love Brienne.
And if her ending was just as good, Jamie's was just as bad.
Yeah, Jaime's ending. Oh my god, Jaime and
Oh, excuse me.
Cersei.
Oh, that was painful. Don't make me think about that again.
Could have done so much more with that. So much more.
Yep. Are you guys watching Hawkeye?
No. Wait, there's a Hawkeye show out?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, Arya is great, but yeah, Brienne is like the lady warrior character. Hands down. So okay, it's good. See, I don't know. A lot of the reboots, like Black Widow, I had no desire to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Loki was awesome. I had no
Yeah.
desire to watch that at first, but she started watching it, and I started catching some episodes, and it was really good.
I love that show, yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yep.
Lopez. So Hawkeye, all right, we have someone else who says Hawkeye is pretty good.
Oh, nice.
But
Oh, it's
so
great.
what is it about? Like, is it a prequel or is it
So
after the events of Endgame?
It is after the events of Endgame. Clint Barton is just trying to do Christmas with his family. It's kind of a Christmas themed show.
Mhm.
So all the music is like holiday music. So he's just trying to have a nice Christmas, but of course his past as the Ronin comes back to haunt him. And a new character, Kate Bishop, is introduced, who is the world's biggest Hawkeye fangirl and was inspired by Hawkeye to become the world's greatest archer. So they have to team up against nefarious foes who I will not reveal who they are.
So they're setting up Hawkeye's replacement in this.
Absolutely.
Lady
absolutely.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, and she's
Okay.
awesome. Within the first 10 minutes, you will be a fan of Kate Bishop. She is so cool.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Lopez says that most of the spin-offs are really good except the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that is so disappointing because I love the Winter Soldier. Falcon I could care less about, but the Winter Soldier was awesome. I love that Captain America.
Bucky is
movie.
one of my favorite characters for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we just watched the Honest. Was it the Honest trailer for the Venom movie?
Yeah.
And they kind of took a stab at the Eternals a little bit.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I'll give it a chance. I don't know. See, I'm so marveled out at this point. Like, I don't really want to go watch anything, but at some point, I probably will just turn around and binge watch and catch up on everything.
That's how I feel. I just need a break.
Yeah.
I just need a break. Loki was awesome. I was going to watch Loki anyway. I did not really want to watch WandaVision.
But WandaVision was awesome.
But I really liked
WandaVision was awesome.
I really liked WandaVision a lot. And I was like, whatever, I got to watch Loki because I love Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Love Loki.
Oh,
so I had to watch it. And
we
it was so
that
good.
Together. You showed me that. And I was like,
yeah.
So cool.
But after that, I was just like, I need a break. Like, the Eternals didn't look bad, but I was just like, I need to just decompress from it for a little bit. And then come back to it when I'm like, okay, I can absorb this now.
Yeah.
Without all the other things just in my brain and just all the
Well, no, COVID really wasn't the breakdown because that's when WandaVision came out and Loki. So Loki and WandaVision was like our COVID shows.
yeah, it was COVID Marvel. Yeah, to a certain degree.
Because that's when I started watching WandaVision, actually. It's because I was home and I just wanted to put something on in the background. And I was like, I probably won't like this show. It won't distract me at all from work.
Dan says he can't do WandaVision because he doesn't ship them as a couple. I bought it. I didn't mind it.
I didn't really pay attention.
I didn't really feel one way or the other about it. Like, okay, they're together. It didn't bother me. It didn't. I was more
There's
feeling.
nothing really special about it, though. It wasn't.
I was feeling more.
Loki and Sylvie, that was cool. I love that.
There was a psychiatrist would be very interested in that situation.
Oh my god, I know. Yeah.
I was feeling Natasha and Bruce Banner. That's that. I was like, yeah, and then it didn't work out. But
And
I
then
was
that
I
didn't
was
work out.
I was digging it. I was like, yeah, you guys, that would be cute. Oh, okay. Well, it would have been, I guess.
They have a pretty interesting romance arc in Eternals, actually. I won't say too much, but they kind of lean into that more than other movies.
Okay.
And I was intrigued by Eternals. I didn't know any of the characters really going in, and I say that as a fan of the comics. So by the end, I was like, yeah, I like these characters. I would go see another movie with them.
I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what Love and Thunder is going to be all about, just because it's Taika Waititi doing Thor once again. So
Yeah,
I'm
that'll be
intrigued.
because Ragnarok was amazing.
Ragnarok was
Yeah.
so good.
All right, so let's skip over to a different universe before we sign off because we did run over, and I'm sure you want to eat dinner.
I do want to eat, so let's do a lightning round.
Have
before
you
we take
seen
off.
the new Batman trailer?
Is there a new one?
We talked about this, I think.
It's not new. Would it come out like last month or something? There may be a new one out, but I
I've
haven't
seen that one. Is that the one where it's like the Riddler and he's like, "You will never catch me," type thing?
And you see Oswald Cobblepot's a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I will probably go see that in theaters.
Really?
Yeah. Why not?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Are you
But
just-
Batman is something that I am just so tired of. So tired
That is
of.
true. They keep pumping them out. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
just
and
keep redoing it and redoing it and redoing it, thinking that they're gonna.
They're all mediocre because they do the same thing every time, just with a new Batman. I just
Yeah.
want to see them do something different, I guess.
That's fair. And I guess I have faith in this director, Matt Reeves. He did the Planet of the Apes movies that just came out, which I thought were awesome. If you guys haven't seen the latest reboot trilogy of Planet of the Apes, totally.
Oh, I have seen
yeah.
those.
Those are really good.
Loved
Totally
them.
And the
Loved
one
them.
with Woody Harrelson, especially, War of the Planet of the Apes.
That movie was incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, I loved that. I cried watching that movie.
So if Matt Reeves can bring that vision to Batman, then I'm sold. I mean, that's just cool enough for me. Plus, I like Robert Pattinson, and
he can act. He can act.
He's a good actor.
He just got shoehorned into Twilight, and it kind of just ruined things for a while for him, I think.
I guess if it gets good reviews and stuff, I'll probably go watch it, but I'm not holding my breath to go see it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempering my expectation for sure. I'm not like going gaga about it, Not like I would be for a Marvel movie. Like Spider-Man's coming out this weekend. I've stayed away from all the sites I would normally be visiting.
Yeah, I haven't looked at anything either because I do kind of want to watch Spider-Man just because they're bringing the gang back together.
It's gonna be crazy.
This would be the time if they wanted to bring Deadpool into the Marvel universe. If they brought Venom and Deadpool in this
That's
one,
gonna happen.
it would be
It's
so
not gonna
great.
happen in this film, but it's going to happen.
I know.
I know
just
Deadpool's
so
coming.
great.
He's coming. I enjoyed those
theory-
movies. I liked the Deadpool films. They were good.
Oh, I loved those. They were so funny. Yeah,
And I liked the
Doctor,
Venom movies
Doctor
too.
Strange 2 is coming, and Doctor Strange 2, I think, is gonna blow the multiverse wide open. We're probably gonna see Deadpool. We're probably gonna see Professor X from the Fox X-Men movies.
Oh
We're gonna
yeah.
see a lot of crazy stuff.
I saw that they're doing Disney Plus is doing a reboot of the '94 X-Men show.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's cool. That was a great show.
It was great. Yeah, it was awesome. I liked '90s X-Men. I liked '90s Spider-Man.
I'm cynical about reboots, though.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, come on, do something original. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, it was great. But do you really need to reboot it? It was great. Leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Batman is the best DC movies. Seriously disappointed with Superman. 100% agree with that. Superman.
I would also agree.
Yeah,
agree
Superman
hard.
movies were very bad.
Has there been a
Yeah.
good Superman movie? Like, no.
Yeah, not really.
Not really.
And they had Henry Cavill, who, in my opinion, was perfect for the part of Superman.
Yeah, he
I
definitely.
thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
Just the script was stupid. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of Man of Steel. Wasn't a fan of whatever the heck they did. I don't know.
Yeah, Henry Cavill was good. Everything else was terrible.
I think DC should just stick to what they're good with and just start doing more villain films.
I
Definitely.
mean, Batman is totally the best DC hero, for sure. And he does have the best villains.
They should just flip the script, though, and just do, like, a villain movie, and then instead of following the superhero and then he has to stop the villain, you follow the villain and him and his schemes to thwart the hero, you know?
The thing that gets me about the Batman movies is literally every time they do a Batman movie, you gotta have the slow-mo shot of the parents being murdered and, like, the pearl necklace getting ripped off of Mrs. Wayne and the pearls, like, going all over the
That's what I mean.
The gritty sidewalk, and it's like, dude, I've seen this. We know that Bruce is traumatized from the death of his parents.
That's what I mean.
We are aware at this
movie with a different Batman every time. Just, okay, you got a new Batman? Fine. Don't just pretend you don't even have a new Batman. Just continue on the story.
Right.
We know what happened to his parents. We've seen the other 9 freaking movies
where they've done this.
Show it.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I know.
carry on the story. Forget about the beginning. No more origin stories. We know where he came from.
Just do like a one-shot Batman story. Like Batman just doing his thing, and like some shit happens, and he's got to stop the shit from happening. Just let it be.
Well, that's what I loved about Marvel's approach to Spider-Man is they were just like, okay, we're not going to do Uncle Ben. We're not going to do the spider bite. We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to fast forward to Peter Parker is a teenage superhero, and that's it.
Yeah. He lives with his aunt. You already know what's happening, and he is Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and then you have more opportunity to show more of that dynamic.
Yeah,
of him being an average high school kid who also happens to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Which is part of the fun of Spider-Man. You get the school and then he goes to college and all that stuff, and like he's trying to balance friends and being a superhero and all that. And blah blah blah. I didn't see Suicide Squad.
But okay, you got me there. Yeah, Suicide Squad, they did do the villains there.
I had no interest in seeing Suicide Squad though.
The first one was so-so, but I heard the second one stepped it up. That was really good.
But
I heard good things, yeah.
Yeah.
But you made one. It sucked. So you just go ahead and remake it 2 years later? Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, it wasn't great, but like Will Smith carried that movie hard.
I bet he
but
did.
It wasn't like terrible.
I don't know.
It just wasn't astounding.
Right.
But I guess they like kind of fixed a lot of the issues that they had in this new one.
I would watch it. I would give it a shot.
I'd watch it just for the shark guy. The big shark guy. Whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, you were stoked for him to be Batman. See, I don't think he's bad as Batman. I really think I'm just cynical because it's
Batman
again. Everything at this point, it just feels like it's the same thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
And yes, there's a second. So the first one was Suicide Squad. The second, the sequel, it's more of a remake, is the Suicide Squad. Or maybe I have that backwards. One was either way. One has the.
No, you're right.
The other
You're
one
right.
just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see Belfast. No one wants to see that movie, I guess. I want to see that movie.
Yeah, I'm good.
I want to see Belfast. Looks awesome.
I tried to watch Birds of Prey. Maybe I should try again. I think I just got bored, but I should try again.
My uncle keeps telling us we need to watch Titans or whatever it is.
Yeah, Titans.
Oh god, he keeps telling us we need to watch it, and I'm just like, I'm Marveled out.
That's
I'm
DC.
DC'd out. I know, but I'm like superheroed out.
Don't you mix up Marvel and DC.
I wasn't mixing them. Up.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just superheroed out. I'll never be Harry Pottered out, but I will be superheroed out.
I feel like I don't know. Like I said, give me like 6 more months of not watching any superhero movies or shows. Give me that break, and I guarantee you there's gonna be a week where I just sit down and I like binge watch all the Marvel and all the DC I missed, and I'm just like, why did I put this off so long?
There you go.
Because like WandaVision, I didn't want to watch WandaVision. I just put it on for some background noise, and then I was like, by the second I think it was Lopez said like the second episode was great. It was. The opening of it was amazing, and that's what really got me into it. Because by the second episode, I was like, this work can wait till later. I'm just gonna finish watching this episode. And next thing you know, I'm like 6 episodes deep. I think only like 8 episodes.
I think I binged the whole thing in a week. I think I watched the whole thing in a week or 2.
Yeah, because I think I watched the first 6, maybe 5 episodes.
And then
you were like,
to you.
wait, let me watch it. And then I was, but I gotta watch the next. No, wait for me.
Yep, I made you
So
wait.
I made you like sit down and watch. I'm like, no, finish up. I need to watch the next one.
Yeah, fair enough. I recently did a rewatch of the important Marvel movies. There's important ones and non-important ones.
The important ones are all the Marvel movies. The unimportant ones are Captain America, #1.
Don't bother.
You know what? I would put that in the same category as Superman. It was so bad.
Oh, ow.
I really didn't like that movie. I fell asleep.
It is considered one of the weaker entries in the whole
It's pretty bad.
pantheon of Marvel cinema.
Like
Maybe it's down there with Spider-Man 3.
See,
The Winter Soldier was a mess, though. That's one of the best ones.
Oh yeah, that's why when they Lopez said that the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was bad, that disappoints me because I love the Winter Soldier.
It was. Oh man, yeah. I see where Lopez is coming from. It definitely left a lot to be desired. Yeah, it had its weak points. I agree with you, Lopez. It definitely had its weak points. And I'm a big Bucky fan, so it's a tough pill to swallow, let's say.
I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say it's not the Winter Soldier's fault. No. Falcon's bringing him down. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just... See, even Falcon didn't bother me. It's just what they tried to do with the story. And it was very muddled, I think. I think just the story was very muddled. And it was tough to discern who we were rooting for at times. And yeah, I mean, I like Falcon, I guess. He's not that exciting to me.
He's like great value Iron Man. He couldn't afford the whole
Value
suit. He's
Iron
just
Man,
got the
yeah.
wings.
A budget, a dollar store Iron Man. Yeah.
Uh, it seems like we're killing of the Uncle Ben as a ritual for the Marvel gods every other year. I don't know because I haven't watched a Spider-Man movie since the original trilogy with Spider-Man 3 and emo Spider-Man. Like it turned me off that much from Spider-Man. I didn't watch any others after that. I will say one thing about Spider-Man 3. It was so bad, it was kind of entertaining.
Yeah, my favorite part was when the guy from what was the show? That 70s show? My
Yeah.
favorite Topher Grace. My
I
favorite
just call
part
him
was
Eric
when he went
Foreman.
into church and he's like, "Please God, please kill Peter Parker." It's
Yeah.
like, what are you doing, man?
And then Venom like drips down on him
Yeah.
because Peter's like ripping him off of it. Yeah. I don't know. It was so outrageous. It was so bad.
Well, casting Topher Grace
like,
as Eddie
entertaining.
Brock, what the hell?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was
They definitely made up for it with Tom Hardy.
On that note, you guys, by all means, continue. I think I have to sign off so I can go eat. But if you guys want to keep streaming, go for it.
No, that's okay. It's late. We should probably end it here. But this was a great discussion.
This was.
This was fun.
Indeed.
Noel, we look forward to continuing this tomorrow evening.
Yes, I'm very excited to stop by tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
All right.
For sure.
Well,
So,
thank you everyone for joining us.
yes, thank you much.
And we will see you Saturday for just me and Lex for our last live stream before Christmas. So,
And Noel, we will see you tomorrow.
all right.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.